What's up, Maxwell?
I'm good. Drinking some coffee, having a nice Friday. It's been a busy week for me.
We're recording late this week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I see you have a new job description, Professor of Everything.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's going to trigger somebody. And my new job description is JQ's Kryptonite. Don't ask me why. We got a lot to talk about. We got some guests on this week. So I say, let's stop all the chitty chat and let's drop that intro and let's get talking about RC. What do you say, Max? You think so? You think we should do that?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Just because you said so.
Nitro is the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. Welcome to the No Name RC podcast. Get ready for some serious bench racing. But be warned, we speak our minds, express our thoughts, and sometimes things can get a little rowdy.
Hate, and he just was influenced by the hate coming from the left, the hate coming from the right.
And let's get back to more club racing and less of this money-grabbing book racing.
It's hard not to be arrogant when you're always right.
Yeah. See what I mean? That's exactly why people call you arrogant, Max.
You may not agree with everything we say, but it's definitely worth a listen.
And our pick, can you stop whatever you're doing?
Join your host, Leslie the Great, with co-host and guests as they get together to chat RC.
Hey, after that race that I watched this morning, I have to talk about
it. Here we go. $100 right here, $100 throw. Oh no! I like this.
Yes, indeed. Nitro is the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode number 222 of the No Name RC podcast. I'm your host, Keaton White, a.k.a. Left the Great. To my virtual left is the Professor of Everything, the arrogant one, Maximus Mortis. Hello, Max. How are you?
I don't know which one is actually better, Professor of Everything or the arrogant one, because in the end, they both sound exactly the same.
Well, I'm pretty sure you're going to get some hate for it, and but you know, I think you like that stuff.
Yeah. But I hope people realize it's tongue in cheek. So.
Tongue in cheek, I love it. We're going to talk about you in a bit because you've been pretty busy. You've been doing a lot of content with guys, been at the track. But before I do that, I just want to say thank you to all of the NNRC squad around the world. We truly can't do this without you. If you can, please, and if you haven't, please hit that sub notification, like or dislike button, leave a comment, share on YouTube. If you're listening to us on an audio platform, please leave a review and some comments. But yeah, we really want to get the YouTube brand. We're at almost, I think 3,500, 3,550, 3,525, something like that, 3,530. We want to get up to 4,000 subs, hopefully by end of February, like DNC. I hope so. So please help us out there, guys. We have greatly appreciate the support that you have been giving us. But if you have friends that haven't heard about the podcast, go, sure. We're doing a lot. We're doing a whole bunch of scales. It's primarily 8 scale, but we are branching out into different genres. Also, shout out to the patrons of the NNRC. Unfortunately, you guys did not get early release of this podcast, but you will be getting early release of a video that I have coming out because Max and I kind of did not get scheduled to record till Friday morning. If you wish to be a patron of the podcast, the link for that is in the written description. So thank you guys. You really helped me out a lot. Also, there's a link for the YouTube membership if you wish to support that way. Also, we can't do this without sponsors and companies that advertise with us. If you're a company looking to advertise with the podcast, hit me up. We're open for business. We got tiers for everybody. We're willing to cooperate and do whatever we can do. We're looking to work with people that think this is a great platform to advertise on. But I would like to say thank you to Invisible Speed, Hitec RC, TNR Fuel, Sun Pedal USA, Mayako, Beach RC, Tekno RC, Lugs Racing Tires, Clinic RC, Ardent Imprint, RC Horse, RaceCraft USA, House of RC, WRCE, shout out to RCGP, Runafalk Racing, our four, I guess these are our four drivers: David Runafalk, Robert Badier, JTP, Jared Tebow, JTP RC, and of course our friend, the Dr. Alexander Hagberg, who is at the Snowbirds racing this weekend. Also, I would like to welcome a new sponsor to the podcast. They aren't new to the podcast, but they are a new sponsor. We had the original owner on the podcast some time ago. As you guys know, I am a gas truck fanatic. So I have a bunch of them back there. And I always thought that the Ignite Design RC products were really great. But, I had Chad Parks on, and we just kind of lost track with him. I know that they switched over owners. It's now owned by Jimmy Woodley. He's done of the classic RC shop down there in the Panhandle of Florida. So he reached out to me and is like, dude, I want to advertise in the podcast. And I said, yeah, man, I'm always like these trucks. I thought they were great. The conversion. I originally had Chad Parks on. Always wanted to get one. So we've been talking. I mean, Jim is really down there pushing the gas truck down there in Florida. They actually have a series called the Emerge series where they will be racing gas truck. So it's the new design of the Ignite Design RC. So here's what he had to say. Ignite Design RC is bringing gas trucks back to your track near you. Ignite Design RC makes nitro conversion kits for Team Associated, X-Ray, TLR, and TLR electric stadium trucks. And now also carries everything you need to complete a kit and go racing. Awesome dude. He's out there in the Panhandle, classic RC shop. If you guys want, we do have a 10% code. So off a one-time purchase from Ignite Design RC. We will leave the link for that in the written description of the podcast. This is only valid to February 28th. So if you're looking to get one of these conversions, now you can save 10% off, and you also help the podcast off. And maybe, who knows, maybe I'll have one of these to put together and put on my shelf back there at some point. So thank you to that. Also, I want to shout out to Call RC. They sent me over some product. I just started using it the other day. If you guys can, go over to their website. We have a coupon code that saves you 10% as well there. It's called NNRC. I'll put links for that in the written description as well. All right, Max. I have a couple of shout outs I want to shout out real quick. And then we can get talking about you. So shout outs are going out to my friend Tim Barth. Keep your head up, man. Talking to him this morning, or his wife. So going through some rough times, but keep your head up. Ryan Pavitas, happy birthday to you. Turned 21. It was good. Also released an NNRC replay with his dad, Mark Pavitas. Improved audio. Check that out. Mark actually messaged me. It's like, that was cool to have the interview back on. You know what he said to me? He says, I listened to all your podcasts. I thought that was cool. You know, you have a legend like Mark Pavitas saying that to you. You know who else listens to all our podcasts? Your dad.
My dad?
Barry. Not your real dad.
Oh, my real dad. My real dad listens too. He's like always like, oh, where's the, like last week he was like, you guys didn't do a podcast? Like he's always waiting for anyone to show up.
Well, you're adopted, you know.
Barry listens to them too. I think the relationship between me and Barry is that he wishes, you know, that we were like best buddies, you know. I think he has to sort of, you know, give some back to me because I've given him shit throughout the years. But there's this, at least from my side, there's this respect for him as a character. And I think he just wants, you know, us to be buddies, but he can't really show it. So I think this is the dynamic here. Well, I hope we can get Barry on, and obviously he's listening now. So after this podcast, it's gonna be, I want to be on to teach Max the things about RC or whatever he always.
I need to have Barry back on. Yeah. He's got some more stories.
We definitely need to have him on, and this time without JQ, because JQ somehow turns Barry into a different person. It needs to be us three only.
You know who we need to have on with Barry? Degani.
Oh, 100%. I think there is a lot of like good content awaiting us hidden in this sort of early 2000s, late 90s RC, like a West Coast American RC scene, like Degani, Pavitas, maybe even Chad Bradley, Jeremy Korch. Like these guys have stories like no other, but like no one's heard them because no internet at that time. So, I mean, get these guys into a room, and you're gonna get some stories out of that.
We flirted with it. We need to revisit that. A quick shout out to On the Turn, Dirty South, Charlie Mack, and DeMarco. They joined me in the SIC recap. I really enjoyed recording with the guys. Had a lot of fun. Shout out to the Florida RC Championships. Man, dude, right now, Max, Florida is probably one of the hottest spots for RC. Right?
Yeah, I think
all types of RC going on.
Yeah, I think it's because they race all year round. Like California is obviously kind of the mecca of RC in America, but like Florida has sort of, I don't know, they have never had like top drivers. I mean, obviously in the past, but like not in the past 10 years. So
they haven't had a top driver like that. The best driver to come out of the South so far has been Go-Octane. They have never really had a top flight driver. They had guys that come close, but it's like. When I was coming up, like in the early, I would say like 2000s, early 2000s, Florida is one of those places you wanted to go for 8 scale. It had like Boggy Creek and, all these races you used to see. It was a lot of big races there. It was like that for a few more years. It kind of died down a bit, but it seems to come back. Right now in Florida, you got on-road. Right now, indoor, outdoor, on-road. Indoor, outdoor 10 scale. Carpet, dirt, indoor. You know what I mean? You got various different 8 scale tracks to race at. You got 2 series going on right now. So Lance's series is you got 2 series. I probably have more, but 2 8 scale series is the Purge with oh man, the name's on the tip of my tongue. Ryan Leclerc is doing, and then you have Lance's Florida RC Championships, which has been a success. This race opened up, so he sold out of entrants like in like in less than a day, the first round. So he opened up entries again yesterday, and they're gone, sold out. So, but what he does is he also has like VIP rooms and all that stuff. And in the VIP tent, like you have tables, you have snacks, all this type of stuff. He's like, and then he has full coverage of it. Every week, Dan is there. He's doing the coverage, he's doing pictures, he's doing all that stuff. And I haven't heard anybody in Florida talk bad about this, and no big names go to this race. Like there's no. Maybe Tyler Hooks is the biggest name that goes to this race, Yeah. But this isn't a series. This is a series. So
I wonder why people don't go to Florida. Like I'd expect flights to be cheap. Racing goes on all year. Good tracks. Big CJ concepts there.
We always say go to California to get better. Well, yeah, maybe you need to go to Florida too. Yeah,
I think the issue with Florida is like it's just like when you go to California, you go to JBRL. There's going to be at least 1 or 2 guys who are like top contenders in America.
Right.
When you go to Florida, you can't trust that there's going to be like Mayfield. Like even Mayfield shows up to JBRL once in a while. He lives in Arizona.
Right. I agree with you. Let's go. Next up, I was listening on the Mayako MPC meeting yesterday. It was very good. It was very informative. Haven't been on one in quite a while, so that was good. I have a video to show you. Hold on. So Robert went to Uruguay, and let me just see. Let me not have this too loud. So he went to Uruguay to this past weekend to Tico. He's been there before. So this track is actually all concrete. It's all concrete because it's just concrete with like stamp bricks, like a stamp brick pattern, I believe. So I just wanted people to see this track. This is our good friend Nico Brigante, or the Pink Devil as we call him, the El Diablo Rosada, and and Robert at this track. I just wanted people to say, if you're listening to this on audio, we apologize for all the noise, but check us on YouTube because this is pretty cool. All right, let's add this video. There we go.
Yeah, I think Robert has pretty much gone to this race. Like it's almost as a yearly trip to him.
No, he's been once before.
Really? I think he's been here many times.
No, I think he's only been here once before. But check maybe that is brick actually. So some of this track is actual brick.
Yeah, but it's I remember talking to a local way back, and it's really, really high grip.
Yes.
And like effectively, like some of the, I guess like something like IBC could be close to this, that high grip glued dirt, like that type of grip where it's like super high grip. And I really like the looks of this track. It's like, those curbs.
They have working berms.
Yeah, working berms and like
that's so cool.
And like the curbing they have, it's like actual race car curbing. That's something I think we miss a lot in our tracks, because I don't know. I really like when you can use the edge of the track more effectively instead of that just being a pipe. So I wish more tracks adapted this style.
Or at least on the corners.
Yeah, especially. Yeah, that's like this section here where you have this long corner. You can like hug the inside without being right at the pipe. You can like use it a little bit and it will unsettle your car, but you are not going into the pipe. So, and also for racing, when you're racing with another car, you don't have to fear that if you go a little bit too much to the side, you're going to hit a pipe immediately, and here, like stuff like this, it allows such nice, like close racing.
Yeah, that's actually Robert in the back. Oh, that was a good pass.
Yeah.
That's a great track. Great track. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Let me get back to my notes. All right. So real quick, a couple of race announcements coming up. Well, not coming up. That's happening this weekend. We have the J Concepts INS race at San Diego RC. I think Born a Crime will come on and help recap this with me. But Spy Shots, I wouldn't say Spy Shots, Open Shots, J Concepts. Basically looks like Mayfield's running AE cars. 4-wheel drive and 2-wheel drive.
I'm a bit disappointed. I'm not surprised, but I'm a bit disappointed he doesn't opt out for the 4-wheel drive Tekno, because like they could easily make it like make a new chassis layout. Like, you don't even have to do much. Just put a new motor mount. Well, actually, they can use the same motor mount. So basically, all you have to do is just make a new chassis. Like MIP made the chassis back in the day when the car first came out. I think it would be a really good car. I guess it's a bit heavier than the others, but it works. The car is, especially in a low grip, it works. So I don't know what's the thing here. Maybe Ryan just wants, to race, not to focus too much on the 10 scale side.
Right. I think a lot of people was like, well, the Tekno allowed this. I think they just worked it out in his contract, and this is how it is. So
yeah, and also like all the sort of all the inside stuff like that's out from Tekno, like I've heard someone say that they will never make a 2-wheel drive at the current state of the market. I'm guessing the 4-wheel drive 10 scale didn't sell that well. I don't know. But to me, it seems like Tekno is absolutely not interested in the 10 scale market at the moment. I think it might have to do with like the issue with the 10 scale market is, you have to make a car that works on dirt and also on carpet. And effectively, that means you have to make a car that's really, really good on carpet. And then, you can tune to make it work on dirt.
Yeah.
So for American companies,
and it has to be good,
hard to do,
and it's a lot of work.
Yeah. So
it's like we're talking about 2 whole new classes. So I think from what it looks like, this is a main is giving him whatever he wants, because and also people have to understand that it's not just the chassis company that these guys are responsible to; they're also responsible to the other sponsors. So you never know what other influence they have. But I think he worked this out. And Mayfield's, it's good to see him in 10 scale. We're following this race this weekend. Also, where's my notes? We got the Snowbirds going on this weekend. We're watching that. We got EOS Dawn. Ooh, stacked. Yeah. Everyone is there.
There was
Chaplin's there.
Yeah, ETS last weekend and now EOS at the same venue. They do this always at this venue where they, split it 2 weekends in a row, ETS and EOS, and I think they had their record ever at this race. So they had, combining the 2 weekends, they had over 800 entries. Now that's not even across like many classes. There aren't like tens of classes. There's, stock, mod and stadium truck in the off-road, and obviously two-wheel drive, all-wheel drive. So there isn't that many classes, and still they manage like quite a bit
but
of entries.
Anybody in that's fast now in carpet racing is there. You know, Brock Champlin's made the trip over there, and that's good. So this is going to be a great race.
Bruno isn't there because he's at Snowbirds, but you know, everyone else, even the X-Ray team lifted their EOS boycott. So
I had that in our news, but that's good to see. X-Ray back at EOS. That's good to see. So they said that Bruno will be at EOS races, and that's all great for us RC racing fans. Very good. I'll have Hefty on next week to recap the Snowbirds. And I just wanted to two more shout outs. One out to young Jack Parsi. He's going out to his first Australian Mayako driver is going out. Nice young man, like 10, 11. Going out to his first international races, going to the New Zealand Nats. So I was talking to his dad. He's super excited about that. And good luck to all of our Pacific Northwest family up there in RC family. The Winter Rage is kicking off at the Walla Walla County Fairgrounds. This is one of their big indoor horse stadium races that they have. I see Tony Newland's going up there. Speaking of Tony Newland, I want to say shout out and thank you to Clinic RC. They got the new RaceTech motors out. And for those of you that are listening to an audio, this is a RaceTech engine commercial. Thank you to Tony and Vicky at Clinic RC for their support. Check out the RaceTech engines at clinicrc.com. Max, real quick before we go on to some Hitec RC news, you was pretty busy. You was on my good buddy. Shout out to my boy, Corey Jordan, a.k.a. EKJ 24,000, the RC Lounge podcast. You was on his podcast this past week. I think it was Saturday, right?
Yeah, last Saturday.
No, this Saturday. Go on. It was good. I enjoyed it. Hit up my boy, EKJ 24,000 on YouTube. Hit that sub and notification button. He's getting a lot better with his stuff. You know,
yeah. And also, I think I like, you know, when we're doing a podcast here, it's more like, you know, we talk about, you know, news and stuff like that. Like doing just a random podcast where we just talked about, you know, he asked questions from me, we just chit chatted, all that. You know, that was fun for me. A little bit of a different experience. And yeah, he's definitely a cool dude too. Nice I enjoy going on other podcasts and being the guest because it's different and you get to talk about what you want to talk about. And I enjoy that. And shout out to him. His podcast has been busy. I think he had like 2 lives after that. He was like, man, I got Adrian Castro. I was like, but Adrian Castro is like a fast Argentinian racer. So I got to get him on her. And then I was supposed to be with you on this, but I thought you would be the best person for this. So Cade of Roach RC, who I got to meet at Masters of Dirt. If you haven't checked out his channel, it's a very, very good channel as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He, his videos are really good. You wasn't there.
Go ahead. He puts lots of effort into his videos.
Oh, yes.
He's sort of one of those people who is passionate about RC. And, you know, he's not, you know, a guy who's been at RC forever and is now telling his wisdom to everyone else. Like a lot of like Drake or these people, they're sort of like figures and they're just trying to, you know, tell what they know, give tips and tricks. Kate is sort of a person who is like, you can watch his videos and go in for the ride, you know? You can be a beginner, you can be a guy who's into RC. He just shares his, you know, he likes it, he races it, and he films it. And it's more of an, you know, RC lifestyle channel, if you want to put it that way. And I really dig that style of videos he makes. And yeah, the video I made with him was sort of giving him tips and setup and driving. And that was really fun of me to do because I often get like messages over Facebook or whatever, like what should I do to my car? What should I do with my driving? but it's hard, it's just, he says, I'm having issues with this or this, and then I try to, think what would suit him. But making a video like this with Cade, where I could watch him drive, we could discuss it, I could hear he's like, what did he think of what I said? Did he have issues with this and this and this? So it's more productive,
Mm-hmm.
And I think making a video out of it and making it public, a lot of people can see that, they can see, oh, he did that stuff. My car looks like that when I drive it. And
Mm-hmm.
then I gave a tip like this. And yeah, the response was pretty positive from the comments. So I'm really happy about that. And it was definitely fun too. That was sort of a new experience for me too. A lot of times I help people, on track over messages,
Mm-hmm.
but more analytical over a video, sort of long form. That was interesting. I think that can provide a lot of good things to people.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. He's a good dude. He's very well spoken. He was asking me about, and I was like, he's like, man, I spent so much time because he obviously scripts all of his stuff, right?
Yeah.
I would hire this guy to do a voiceover for me. That's how good, or write up a script for me.
Really good at that.
I would hire him to write a script up for me because I've been thinking of doing some voiceover stuff for some of my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just the script that I need. But very good dude. I'm glad you guys got to do. I knew you would be good at it. I thought 3 would be a crowd. So I was like, look, Max is your guy for this. He will geek out with you, give you all the information you want. And Max, so check out this. We will leave links for these 2 channels in the written description of this podcast. So check them out there. Max, I have a question because I saw that Pecco and Una are signed up for EOS, but they're not there, right?
They're both in the military right now. So
Pecco did Dawn last week.
Yeah, but how it works is basically, you're in the military, so you can request, weekend holiday because you have this important competition, and oftentimes they do grant it, like EOS last weekend.
Okay.
For athletes, for, if you have something that's, more worthy than, learning how to be a soldier, that they grant you those holidays. But oftentimes, if it's just maybe they're having a big, rehearsal or something, sometimes you just can't give some guy a holiday. So that might be the case.
So that might be there.
Yeah, but most likely if they aren't down there, they are in the military, probably sleeping at some forest in the snow.
Yeah, because you've done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how long would they be there? 6 months? You was there for 6 months, right?
Yeah, probably they'll go off at 6 months. Both of them are at places where they can easily get off at 6 months if they choose to do that. So
right, because this is mandatory.
Yeah, so the way it works is it's mandatory for all men, and then you get selected. You can request to be just a foot soldier, a pioneer, or what are all these a Marine, whatever. There's lots of section you can go into, service or whatever. And if you're an officer, then you have to be there for a year. If you are just what the fuck is this word in English? I guess if you're just a foot soldier, then most of them are 6 months. Some of them are 9 months. But yeah, most of the time, especially the places where Joona and Pekko are, there's quite a lot of spots for 6 months service. So I think they'll get off in 6 months.
All right. So,
but it's not a predetermined. It depends on which position you're selected into. I was naval scout, but I wasn't an officer, so I got off at 6 months. So that was good.
Okay. All right. So they'll be back out racing soon.
Yeah.
All right. And you did some, look, that's what it is, because I see you posting these pictures of this 10 scale track you're racing at, right? Or practicing at. What is that surface?
So basically it's, that building is effectively a bunker. Finland has a lot of bunkers because, there's quite a big country next to us who has had nukes for the past 50 years. So our country, pretty much like all of our population could fit in the bunkers. So
really?
Yeah. So there is a lot of like empty spaces like that. And that one is just one that our club rents out. And the floor is just like concrete, like it's like smoothed out concrete. So
it's slippery.
It's slippery. So what I do is I spray some sugar water on it so it gets grippy, and then run some honeycombs. It is quite similar to that workshop ground where it's like rubber caulk. It's not the same, but it's similar. It slides, but it's not like driving on ice, or it's not like driving on like outdoor concrete. It's very, very smooth. So yeah, but that track, I've been working on it since the fall. I've been there, making jumps, making some curbs, all of that stuff, putting on pipe, and finally I've got it ready. I had one guy help me with it. Luckily, I've had him, so we could finish the jumps early this year, and now I've been going there about once a week to practice. And yeah, we hope to get some more guys in the club so we can grow it. We also have an outdoor track, so next summer I'm gonna we're gonna get some new dirt and build an 8-scale track. So I'll have a track like 5 minutes from my house, so that's gonna be good.
Awesome. Excuse me.
I think.
All right.
I think generally it's hard in Finland because we have to have indoor tracks, but then everyone wants to race outdoors in the summer. So you kind of like have to find places which wouldn't have any use otherwise. Like this bunker is a good one because it has to be there for safety, but like no company would ever use it. But for us, it's perfect,
Okay. Sweet. Nothing else in shout. We've been on for shout outs pretty long, but it was also like our introduction chit chat. Nothing new for me on my side of things. I think it's time to just geeking out on RC, man. I'll tell you what's new for me. I am freaking excited about the NC. I am not gonna lie. I am starting to get all tingly.
Yeah. When I saw your post that it's 3 weeks out, I'm like, really? Like, I was kind of surprised how soon it's becoming, but it's already February, so I'm excited for it. Yeah. I kind of like right now I'm like, oh, I wish I could have gone, but I'd be just like way too busy to make it. And
me and Salty Joe talk like every day, and it's like, I can't wait. I can't wait. I was like, me too.
Yeah. And I think this year it's gonna be, again, like I don't know if Ungara is gonna be there or Canas or these guys, but there's gonna be quite a big crowd there, and especially like I think the American RC scene is quite booming. Like it's been really, really strong like since like the year changed. So I think it's gonna be a good year for RC, especially in America. I mean, why not in Europe as well? So because I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about this up in a minute. All right, Max, let's get on to the Hitec RC news, who are celebrating their 50th anniversary. They just released a new servo. They have another big announcement I'm going to share in a minute if you haven't seen it. But now, more than ever, today is competition. Quality off-road vehicles and giant-scale aircraft demand uncompromised quality and performance in the never-ending race for gold. The new ultra-premium DB971WP answered that call for increased durability, providing the pro-class dependability and reliability you demand, regardless of your mission. Coupling massive torque and high speed with its wide voltage range and high resolution low deadband circuitry, the DB961WP will deliver your hobby to a new level. So, quick spec. I know everybody likes torque. 763 ounces at 6 volts and 7.4. New 8-scale servo coming out from them. But also, not only did they release a new servo, I heard they have some other stuff coming out. But they dropped this.
Hi, I'm David Ronafalk, and I'm happy to announce that I've joined the Hitec factory team for the 2023 season and beyond. As a professional driver, I require servos in my vehicle that I can trust to perform at the highest level, and Hitec servos are world-renowned for quality, performance, and reliability. Starting out, I remember using Hitec servos and the Aggressor CRX radio, and now I've come full circle to become an integral part of the Hitec family as a team driver, brand ambassador, and I will also be heavily involved in the product development. This year, Hitec is celebrating its 50th anniversary, and I'm thrilled to be part of this milestone. Thanks to Hitec for all the support, and I'll see you at the track.
Man, Hitec went big. Signed the Viking, making a big push. They're gonna have have a big presence at DNC this year. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Definitely in the last 2 years, Hitec's made a great push in the racing scene. There used to be I have this 10 scale truck right up here, and it's got these Hitec servos in it from back in the whenever. But good to see. Thank you, Hitec, for all their support. If you guys if you ever buy any Hitec stuff, just say you've heard about it on the No Name RC podcast. Will help us out. All right, Max. So let's start off there. David is going to run Hitec servos, also Matrix tires, because I don't think we've talked about that. Still silly season moves going on. Thoughts on I'm pumped about the Hitec servos. Thoughts on the Matrix tires thing? Do you think this is going to be like one of them deals where if they don't have the right compound, he'll be able to run whatever tire he wants? Well,
David said that wasn't the case. So
okay,
I think this has been in the works for quite a bit, and Matrix is also a very, very old tire manufacturer. So I do think, and they have Verri and Bertin, very experienced guys working on this, and they know what they're after.
Mm-hmm.
So I would expect they have the tire game pretty set up from the start. I'd be very confident that the tires are going to be quite good, at least for the pros. And from what I'm expecting, Ongara is going to be signed to them as well.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, so they're going to have quite a few big names. So, and Ongara already ran their tires at Montpellier. So,
okay, it's going to be interesting also to see the dynamic between Runafalk because they are competitors. They are they are serious competitors against each other. But yeah, congratulations to Hitec. Congratulations to Matrix. You're new to the new Nova Rossi or Nova engines, as they're called.
Yeah, that is the first signing they've made from outside of Italy, I believe. So that's interesting news. But yeah, from what I've heard of the Nova engines, there has been some bad feedback from customers. I saw this. Some people were discussing this on the Discord, but I don't know. It might be just like some of the kinks of starting out, but I hope the engine market seems to be very vibrant. Nova is coming out with full force, RaceTech coming out with their engine line, Corsetec out on the market right now, and from my understanding, all of these engines are quite original. I'm not sure of the RaceTech ones if where they outsourced them from. But from my knowledge, all of these three are unique, producers. Reds has their unique engines. Pico is still alive, at least in Europe. And OS, Alpha is still doing their engines, and OS is, there.
And
so
I
think
they're designing its own engine now too, but I think it's like an OS based. So.
I mean, S-Works has had that engine out for a while, and it's always been just an OS, rebranded OS. Okay. So I think that part of the market will stay quite intact, the OS-based engine market. I think that will still be quite a big part of it, big part of the market. But I do think we are possibly going into an era of, much more engine competition, which is obviously really good. there might be some good, improvements on that front.
Yeah, but will this change the mind of the majority of the RC community that believe that it only has to be OS or nothing else?
Yeah, I think the issue with the OS engine is they have been so good for so long, and no one hasn't come like Reds had a stride in I'd say 2016 to 2018 when Boots was doing really well and then Mayfield was running their engines. So Reds had a stride where that was the most popular engine for a while, at least in Europe. But since then they've calmed down a bit, and OS just fully took over. Pretty much all the other brands went out and everyone was running an OS at one point. So it's I hope we can find I hope these manufacturers can find something new from the engines, something that makes them significantly better, or is at least a significant competition to the OS. I think Corsetech is one really valid competitor due to the fact that it has a lot of power, but also can get a lot of mileage. David made 9 minutes at most of the races last year, which is much more than most guys get with their OS, talking top guys here. So yeah, I think Corsetech could become out to be one of the big competitors. Now, I don't know, the big thing is, when you sell them out, how consistent is the production, how easy to tune they are. Because OS has had that down since forever. You can never get OS to flame out pretty much. At least the good ones, they've came out with some bad carbs, but apart from that, they've always been really good. If you knew which model you choose, you could run it forever and it would be good.
Yeah, it should be interesting. That's what's needed to spark innovation and battle the engines, I would say. Martin Beyer out at Hobby Wing. I just noticed this today. He's actually at the EOS race this weekend, I believe. So not sure what that's all about, but let's talk about the couple races that we had last week, I think all of these might have been the same week. ETS, Montpellier, and TNR, I think were all the same weekend. So, Orlowski, Schumacher wins ETS and a stacked ETS. Okay. No, Bruno. Yeah. Was Bruno there?
No, Bruno doesn't race. X-Ray doesn't race ETS anymore.
But not that they're racing EOS, they might run ETS.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Really?
Yeah, I think there's quite big beef with Reinhardt's and Coelho. From what I've heard, there's
Yeah, I know that, but didn't Reinhardt used to run off-road as well?
Yeah, he used to run, but it's Mark
so
Reinhardt's
EOS and ETS aren't related?
Or? They are. Okay. They're both run by, Uwe Reinhardt. But, okay. I think the Reinhardt versus X-Ray beef on the on-road side was more of a Reinhardt versus Bruno beef. And the off-road side, it was just more of X-Ray versus.
I think if they're gonna do it on the off-road side, they're probably gonna do it on. It'd be great.
I'd hope so. But I think the decision to pull out from ETS was more because from what I've heard from behind the scenes, it was Bruno who was really not happy with the situation. Mm-hmm. There was some there's some accusations that Mark took Bruno out at one race, and then they didn't penalize Mark enough in from Bruno's point of view, and then there was a back and forth blaming each other for whatever. But yeah, I don't know what's happening on that side. The off-road side was more of it started, because of the Hoodie Arena race. So the X-Ray drivers practiced before the race when they shouldn't have. The track was closed, and there was X-Ray drivers who drove a pack or two at the track before the race even started. And that's when Uwe Reinhardt made a decision to not put a race at Hoodie Arena again, So then X-Ray obviously they got pissed off by that, and then eventually they ended up pulling out the whole team from EOS. And there was also quite a bit of beef between Schumacher and X-Ray. I don't know if it had something to do with the tires or what it was about, but there was a clear beef between, Schumacher and X-ray drivers. And that was quite prevalent in the UK scene.
All right. But Ronnefalk went to this race. I think he finished.
Yeah.
He got a 4 and A3, I think.
Yeah, so he qualified, I think, 4th, but then in the mains he ended up having some bad luck, and I don't know where he finished. He finished quite at the bottom of the A, but he ended up having a DNF at 1, and I think he had a body talk at 1 or something. But yeah, he had a quite bad luck in the mains. But he was consistently, even I think at the start of after 2 qualifiers, he was in front of Mark, so he was doing quite well, to be honest. And Ronald and Michael were the top 2 runners all weekend long. So,
dude, Orlowski is just like the carpet master right now.
Yeah, he's very, very good. I think he's put a lot more effort into on-road, and Schumacher also, they have improved their car a lot in the past, let's say 2 years. And they have brought out 2 new cars in this past 2 years, and they have, Orlowski has practiced it. I mean, I'd almost argue he's practiced as much or even more touring than off-road, which previously was not the case. He would pretty much only do an off-road apart from a few ETS races. And before, when I talked to Michael, he even said himself he doesn't feel as comfortable in on-road. He makes too many mistakes in on-road. But clearly now he's gotten much more comfortable, and first ETS win for Schumacher and for Michael. So
I think Michael is one of the most talented drivers in the world. After watching him drive at the Worlds in 8 scale, I'm like, this guy is really good.
Yeah, it's crazy because he isn't. I think he's 21 currently, 20 or 21, maybe 22. I can't be sure, but he's not old. He's about the age of what Bruno was when he became a professional, and we could all argue that Michael is better in 10 scale. And in touring, he's getting there to the top level, and proving from the last Worlds he did, he's really good in 8 scale off-road as well. So he can do almost anything at this point. He's the European champion in pan cars, so he can do so many different classes and do well in all of them. So yeah, I think he's gonna be one of those, all-time top drivers at least in a few years. He's so versatile. That's one thing that is impressive about a driver. There aren't many of those, like Hara, Coelho, Orlowski. Those are the sort of few that come into mind. Even Americans like Cavalieri or Mayfield, who are such great drivers in off-road.
But Cavalier's done well in on-road too.
Well, in America, but that's different,
Yeah, a little different level.
Yeah, he hasn't. I don't think he's ever raced at the Worlds in on-road.
Yeah, he did really races and stuff like that.
So, but it's very different. The American on-road scene is arguably not as a high level.
I would agree.
As the European
we can agree
one.
there.
If you're talking pan cars, the American scene is very good in pan cars, but in touring, I wouldn't say that they are.
There are a few top guys like Sam Isaacs and those guys, but not like this. It looks like Volker came second, Reinhardt third in touring, modified touring car. Let's go on to Montpellier warm up. So they changed the track.
Yeah,
I like
that. Was interesting. That was
a big change.
I think the track has been virtually the same since, 2000, early 2000s.
They have made small changes though.
They have definitely made small changes, but sort of the track, the end of the straight, they have changed chicanes or jumps a bit, or maybe some elevation, but the effective layout has stayed very, very similar for a very long time. This was the first, because now, the whole track dynamic has changed a lot, that big sweeper after the straight. So that was definitely interesting to see. And I think this race is I hope they can sort of get that status that would attract Americans too at some point.
Yes. I hope so too, because I really, really do enjoy this race.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it. I'm looking forward to it. Let's talk about it. So they had, so for people to understand, this is a warm-up race. They had 4 10-minute, 12-minute finals, I think. 4? Was it 4?
Yeah. So I think what they do is they have like 3 qualifiers and then they have like 4 10-minute mains or something like that, you know? So that's just that people can test stuff and, you know, get the track time, but still like get chances to test stuff. So it's a different layout and or different format rather. So it's interesting. To be honest, I'm not a huge fan of having a warm-up race.
Really?
So yeah, because it's just like, why, like you only travel there to test for the actual race. You know, why wouldn't, if there wasn't a warm-up race, then, you know, you could go to another race, you know, save the travel fees and all that. Obviously, you know, it benefits the club and that's why they do it. But, you know, I'd wish, like, instead of going there, they go to another race somewhere else and then they could go to the actual Montpellier race.
Yeah, but it was there. They had a warm up. Pretty much all the guys that are going to be at this race were there. Canas, I think, won all 4, I think.
Yeah, he was like, it was weird because Ongaro was really fast from the get go. So Ongaro was fastest. I believe he was fastest after practice, but he was definitely fastest after qualifying. But in the mains, then Canas kind of took over. It ended up being so that Canas won on our second, Boots third. And what surprised me was Valente. You know, he's driving a WRC. Fast. He ended up finishing 4th with a WRC. You know, so that is very interesting. You know, probably
I'm not shocked. I mean, Tressevan does good with the WRC.
Yeah, I mean, they've done good, but it's just like, this is his first big race with the car, and he's quite up there. So that was interesting. Robert 5th, Parente 6th, Baruffalo 7th, and then lots of French guys. One surprise name I see very down on the list was Berton at 14th.
Yeah,
so that was a bit of a surprise because he's usually being quite fast at this race. You know, this has been one of his best races for a few years now. So I don't know what happened to him for not doing that well this year.
Yeah, I don't know, but all I know is that I think it's next week, the race. I don't know who is going to do the coverage of it. I hope we do get coverage.
Yeah, usually it's been the French RC Mag who's done the coverage. Last year, the issue was that the people who usually did it didn't have, you know, they had something else on that day. So they only had that, like, one camera phone or something. But in the past, they've had a very professional coverage. So I really hope they have that again, because that's one of my favorite, you know, it's kind of like the first big race of the year and it has good coverage. It's a prestigious race. So that has always been really fun. Yep,
for sure. I can't wait for that as well. Let's talk about, okay, so real quick, American top 5 RC rankings came out this past week. I know who did it. I don't know if we're going to say who did it. He's a good friend of mine. I think his people know who it is. But it came out. A lot of people have been calling for this for some time after. I feel sorry for Rick. Like, every time the top 25 rankings come out, he just gets to explain himself over and over and over.
Yeah.
So this person decided to do the American version. They used the Supercross point system, and I believe they use races for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And he sent me the spreadsheet. No, I need to send it to you. And also help us out when we're looking for results. And but this is actually something that you can look at through the numbers and see who's best and who's good. This is actually based off of actual races, and it has drops and all that type of stuff as well. When I say actual races, it's based off of a all the races, all the big races in America, it looks like.
Yeah, I think what people don't really understand is the formula that he uses, Rick uses. It is like a decent formula. The issue that the list has is the data set is too small. So there is, there aren't enough races where you could get a reliable data for some drivers. For example, Ronefalk hasn't raced in any race that's on the list since the Worlds, so that's why he's stayed on top, because he hasn't had races that would drop, and he hasn't had races that he'd race at, which would affect his score. So that's one of the issues. Now, I think the formula he's using is very accurate, because looking at the data from the past years, it has been quite accurate of like judging how good a driver is. Now, the issue with, points, like giving out points for results without taking into account the field of drivers, that's never going to give you, who's actually the best driver or whatever. That's going to give you, some formula, but it doesn't take into account enough things, in my opinion. So I like that. I like the thing that it's American only, because this is what I've said to Rick way back already, because my biggest critique of the list when, I was, believe it or not, I was one of the biggest critiques of the list way back. And the reason why I didn't like what the list was because it doesn't really represent what it sort of is portrayed to represent, so it kind of like top 25 RC, all the world, but then drivers like McBride and people like that just aren't in there at all. And then that to me is the difficult part, because the data set just isn't big enough to use this type of formula. So what I suggested then was to separate the Europe and America. So that way you get, very accurate data, because most of these guys race with each other. You value the race, race points based on the field of drivers. And then like that then we would have like really, really accurate data of who's actually, actually could be ranked the best. But I mean, I think the sort of prestige of the list, or the meaning of the list, he has done really well, like he represents all drivers there well. It looks nice. It's very, straightforward. Like it shows points of how many points drivers has. And the formula isn't that hard to understand, The formula isn't the issue. It's just the data set, in my opinion. So I have some critiques on the list still, which I've had all along. But I do think...
But the American one uses points. It actually uses physical points. That's the difference between both of them.
Yeah, it is. But I think... it doesn't really change anything. Like, it's just a different formula, it's a formula that it's easier to understand for a simple brain, but like it doesn't really change anything. It will still have the same issues at the other list.
Well, you know what? We're talking about this. We're talking about lists and all that type of stuff. I hope the American top 25 keeps on going, because I like it. But we're actually looking at possibly having a series here, which then you can compile actual, an actual ranking off of that, which is the Mid-America Outdoors and the US Pro Cup RC Super Series are proud to announce the MAO RC Super Series. So I guess it's the Mid-America Super Series, RC Super Series. So what they're doing is, how Joe has always said is going to do this series, right? So it's going to be the Dirt Challenge, his three big races, the Dart, Silver State, and Lone Star.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like now they're teamed up with Divisions race. And so they're gonna. So all these races are before June too. By the way, the Lone Star race is very soon after. It's like March or April, I want to say, and then Silver State is obviously in May. So this is good. This is actually really good. We can if the only if is I gotta see if the pro guys all go to the Lone Star race because not all of them go to that race. Maybe they will now. Because now it's gonna be finishing off at the Visions off-road race, which they had last year. So that's gonna be at Mid America Outdoors. So here we have, and I hope that the manufacturers send their drivers down to Texas. So
yeah, I mean I'm very skeptical. Yeah, I'm very skeptical because even like it's funny because the Mid America Outdoors event, the Visions race last year, that was like everything people wanted. It was live RC, it was American organization, it was a race that paid out for the pros, filmed really well, a professional production company, catered to outside RC, viewers as well. Like everything people said that they wanted out of RCGP. The Mid America Outdoors had all those things. Like there wasn't some like JQ type figure with strong opinions. It was live RC. Everyone knows live RC, and then it was at a big event outside of RC. So everything that they could have ever wanted, they had there. And still people didn't go. Still people, like some people just didn't want to go there.
Right, but so it's not just about that. For me, I just want the pro people to go. Now, the people that didn't go to this race
Fent wasn't there last year. There was
but I'm hoping that the manufacturers support this race and they go to the Texas race. And what I mean by the manufacturers, I'm talking about the pro guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these races will get the interest. Lone Star will get like when I mean interest, the interest from everybody else that's coming to the race. Yeah, I think that's what the Visions race is needed. If we needed a race where we're going to have a good bit of interest and stuff, it's going to be the Visions race. Now I think there's some other outlying things that made that happen. One, the race was announced late. Two, the start shop. It's expensive. It's expensive up there too, apparently.
I'm not talking about entries, though. I'm talking about the pro guys. There wasn't all of the top American bros at the Visions race. That's what my thing was like. There was everything was good. The only little thing
was no fan and Cavallari there.
No, but I mean, there was many Americans who didn't go to this race. It wasn't.
No, it had pretty much everybody. It had Tebow, Mayfield, Lutz. Remember Wiggins won. Stephen Dalen was there. Little Bump was there. It had a pretty the main people that were missing. We didn't have a Cavallari. We didn't have a Fend.
Jones wasn't there.
Jones wasn't there. But I don't think he's gonna. Who else? I think it had everybody there.
But the thing is that people everything was.
I think Rifkin was
might have. Yeah, he might have been there, but still,
dude,
it
had enough.
You were guaranteed. You were guaranteed. Yeah, there was a lot. So there was Hungara, Ronafog at RCGP, and Canas. But it's not everyone goes there.
Yeah, but that was because it was also on a conflicting date, Max. It was on a Raw ENATS date and TLR committed to that.
No, so that no one fucking ever goes to ENATS anyway. So
they do. Most top guys go to ENATS. This got more. This got the majority. Look, they got them. Look, you're trying to argue a mute point. It literally got the amount of. It got a good amount of the top American drivers there. The only two drivers that probably weren't there that are on the top list were Cavallari and Fend and Cavallari. It had Mayfield. It had Tasman. It had. I'm pretty sure it had Rivkin there. They had was Cole there? Cole Ogden?
I don't think he was, but I'm not
all right.
sure.
So maybe I don't think HB. Yeah, the Fullers went. The Fullers went, so I don't know, but it still needs to fill out a few more people, but it had a good bit of people there.
But my point is, it was one race. It had good payout. Everything was good. Like there was nothing except for the fact that the ENATs, which nowhere ever goes to, was on the same day. You know, that like everything else was how people wanted it to be. This would have been the perfect event for everything, and still people were like, "Oh, I'm not gonna go." So now, try get people to go to Lone Star and everyone to commit to every manufacturer to be like, "Hey, we want to do this together." That's not going to happen. Like with the attitude we've had, like people need to take this stuff more seriously. You know, that's my point.
I hope they do. I hope every manufacturer sends their representatives there. I do. I really truly do. Because then we'll have a true series that we can put points to. Like, you know, like they should treat it like a series. Okay, we should go to Lone Star because we want to be. Yeah, I hope it works. It's a good thing. I hope it happens. That's where I'm going to leave it at that.
I really hope Live RC also does like a proper, you know, how would I say this? They do it properly, you know. It's not like if you're trying to do a series like this, I don't think you can.
But I don't think it's Live RC. Streaming. I don't think it's Live RC. It looks like it's Joey at Mid America.
Okay, but Live RC is like Live RC was.
I hope Live really RC. So I hope they have coverage at Lone Star as well.
But they should do like the quality of coverage that was at Mid America Outdoors. They
should be at all three.
Should be at all three. And another thing is at DNC, there's lots of Europeans, so that's gonna make some.
Yeah, like what if Ronafog wins it?
Yeah. I mean, it's not unlikely that Ronafog wins DNC, and Robert has done well at this race before. So, like, it's not unlikely that Europeans, and also Barufalo, he was like really up the top last year. So it's possible that there's quite many Europeans at the top, and then
this is true. I forgot about that. About that.
So there's so many things that will get people not like that people give doubts to. So, and the thing is that. If it was all up to me and I was a manufacturer, I would 100% be like, everyone support this series, go here. And right now I'm saying people should do it.
Yes.
But I'm just like, the thing is, it's not enough to just say, hey, we're going to have a series, because people don't commit to that. Like, you have to actually make people commit, you know, otherwise things don't happen. And that's why I'm being so like,
jaded about it. I think you're jaded. Jaded.
Jaded is probably the word, but that's why I'm being like this about this, because it doesn't work that way. That you just, hey, we have a series, we have a big deal with these guys, and then everyone just comes. It doesn't work that way. It's been tried so many times. People have done it, and the manufacturers just look at their own piece of the pie. The race organizers just look at their own piece of the pie. You know, people don't want to work together inherently, so you have to make people work together. And also, I wish people take this point like seriously, so this series actually works out to the potential it could have. You know?
Right. Also, I would say that the divisions race. So a lot of I've heard this from other companies. Or RCGP, it doesn't have enough people, enough interest there, which I understand to promote our product, but you're not understanding the point of promoting the product is the online coverage. So
exactly,
I hope they don't adapt that attitude. Say divisions race don't get as many entries as it don't get a lot of entries this year. Maybe it gets 100. Let's say it gets 100 entries.
Yeah,
100 people there. Let's say it's 100 people there. That's it. I don't want to hear that excuse from the manufacturer saying, "Oh, it's not enough people there for us to support it." Yeah. No, the support is the online coverage. Go support this. Go support it. Max, let's move on. We got to move on because we got to get to.
I want to actually continue on your point, because that was
good
Go
thing
ahead. To bring up.
No, hey, you know what? What's our safe word? Because I don't want you to drone on. So banana will be our safe word.
Okay, banana will be our safe word. But basically, this is sort of a rant to the manufacturers.
Oh boy.
How can you justify, from a marketing and business point of view, to go to a race with no coverage? You have one article on some Live RC front page that is going to be put down by a new screw released by some brand, So that's the online coverage you get. There's 800 entries maybe at this race or whatever, but there's really like 250 people, 400 people at best, And you send your guys to this race and think, hey, yeah, we advertise to people, which probably like 20% is already our team drivers. They know about our brand. All of them are quite active racers. And we had a pro there, Like you advertise to a few hundred people at the site instead of supporting a race or an organization which promotes to thousands of people online. People watch them. Maybe people who are like thinking of like shopping online or for a car, and they see, oh, Fenn just won this race with a TLR. I'm going to go buy a TLR. And there might be hundreds of people like that looking online instead of maybe the one or two guys at the race. And you spend your money on the former with less exposure, with like worse audience of exposure, and you don't support the races that have this coverage. And this is in my opinion, a very, very short-sighted way of doing business from the manufacturers. You should require all the race organizers to have good coverage, because that's the way you market your brand. Okay? And that's my rant. I'm done. You're on mute, but I'm guessing you're praising me.
No, I just said banana.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about a race that did have coverage, which was really good. It had a lot of the top pros there, which surprised me because I didn't realize it till like a few days before the race was supposed to start. It gave away a shit ton of stuff to the spectators that came there. Sorry, not spectators, racers that came there.
Yeah.
It did give back to the spectators though. They had online raffles. So we're talking about the TNR A Main Challenge that was held at Thunder Alley this past weekend. Shout out to Chris Nelson for putting this as the third iteration of this race. It was huge, man. I just want to go through some of the top names here. So we had Rivkin, Mayfield, Cole Ogden, Tebow, Lutz, Wiggins, Tanner Denny showed up, Cavallari, Drake, Pavidis, Ryan Pavidis. There was a lot of top guys here. I would say the only top guys that weren't here was Fend, Ty, and guys like I would say, like I don't know, Tyler Jones, no Safin Dalins, but they did have a lot of fast SoCal guys there, and it was at Thunder Alley. It did get some criticism. We're going to talk about it in a minute. So a little bit later, but I just want to talk about the race as a whole. I watched it in almost the entire weekend. Dude, Thunder Alley was freaking packed, dude. It was so, it was like 700 entries, right? And it was like 300 something people there. Let me check. Let me look here, right here. It was a lot of people at this race, man.
Yeah, it was like, it's weird because the past few years,
319 people there.
Yeah.
Like racers signed up.
Past few years, it felt like, a big SoCal race,
Yes.
Like a special, a little bit more organized, bigger JBRL,
Mm-hmm.
But this year, it suddenly is just one of the big races. It's weird.
It is.
I don't know how that happened, but it was good to see that we have one more big race. But yeah, there was some.
Yeah, but we'll talk about because of how big it was actually the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
It was actually one of the biggest problems. So we'll address that. But I want to talk about the racing first because it was a really good race. I don't know if you watched it, but I watched a lot of it.
Yeah.
Dude, all I have to say is Drake is freaking fast at this track. Like he was fast. He made this pass on the last lap for a bump from the A main from the B main to the A. And I would have done it too. He just went, whoop, and that person went high in that wall and he just went, and he touched him a little bit, but he went on the inside. And I was like, well, that was good, Drake. That was good. And I have to say this, dude. When we did RCGP there, like, I think this is, if I could have said one car was just dominantly better at this track than any other car I saw there, it was the HB cars. Maybe it was there at RCGP, dude. Every HB driver, like, because Comic Ride had one, Curl had one, Camden Lime had one, like all these guys, you know, and then you had all them HB guys, all the HB cars with that. If there's a track where HB is like the best it could ever be, it's this track. And Cole Ogden, for that matter, to be honest.
This track is the grip level, the sort of semi slow speed track that suits that car perfectly. So, but that's why I'm really surprised why Rivkin did so well.
Rivkin did well at the DNC here too.
I mean, he did, but still, it's interesting. Like how, I mean, one thing I have to say is J Concept is really good at this truck.
Well, even better now because Drake goes her all the time, so he knows what's there.
Yeah. So, like when I was there, I remember like there were drivers who wasn't running J Concepts at the time, and then I was running J Concepts. Joseph almost never run J Concepts, but then at this race he did because they were really, really good. And like Canats run J Concepts, like everyone was on J Concepts at RCGP.
That weekend.
2019 at RCGP, and I remember like trying different tires. It was such a huge difference. So I do see that being a huge benefit for Rivkin, but it's not like Mayfield wasn't running J Concepts. So
dude,
I guess Rivkin practices here a bit though.
I think Rivkin's good here too. So let's put it this way. I thought so the A-man Cole, I think TQ'd. He was the TQ. I believe Cole was overall TQ. He's out there in his new TZO tires as well. I would assume they have some good tires. This is their local.
Yeah,
not local, but they're local to SoCal.
They go to this race, like this track to race.
But I thought, dude, when I saw Cole and Rivkin get like in the A-man, like they kind of like Rivkin was out and like Cole kind of pulled up next to him. I thought we was gonna get a good battle to the end, but man, Cole just kind of made a few mistakes, and then Rivkin kind of just got out in front. And I never saw Mayfield as a threat this race to win that. He just seemed to struggle a little bit on a few things. Cole, I thought if there was a race that Cole was going to win, it was this one because his car looked good and he was driving very well. And I've seen him drive her in person. Tebow in fourth. I think that's a good weekend for him. Second big race on the car. Very impressed with, okay, so this race didn't have a lot, like, it didn't have everybody. It didn't have the Fullers too, sorry. It didn't have the Fullers. But Little Bump, fifth. Very good result for him. Ryan Lutz, sixth. Wiggins, seventh. Wiggins has been having a good 2023. Tanner Denny. Cavallari out with the new WRC. Had the bump from the B-main.
Yeah, I have to say, he doesn't look very good anymore. Like, I don't know what's happened to him, but he's had quite a tough time recently. Like
in 8 scale. NorCal racer, and he's faster. He was fast at RCGP. Kyle Turner. He's always faster. And then, of course, we had Ryan Pavides, Adam Drake. But we had like Aiden Horn was here. It was a lot of guys here. Let's see who won. Truggy. Pro A-Man. Rivkin won. Oh, no, that's Buggy. Sorry.
Yeah, I think I can't remember who won Truggy, but Lil Bump was second in Truggy. I don't know if it was I was watching at E-Truggy, but like that was crazy.
Let's see. Yeah, they did have an E-Truggy main, so nope, you were correct. Mayfield wins. Little Bump second, Pavides third, Cavallari fourth, running the TLR truck, Wiggins fifth, Lutz, Tanner Denny, Tebow, Drake, Lime was flying in Truggy. Flying. He's been fast in Truggy. He was fast at SIC too. And then one E-Buggy. No, that I'm curious. So E-Buggy. Was it one man for E-Buggy? Yes, it was.
Yeah, I think it was.
Rivkin killed it this weekend.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like he won both E-Buggy and Nitro Buggy. So that was interesting. And they are running like a special chassis in the Nitro car. they have moved like everything back like 10 millimeters. So it's great. It's funny looking because like when he cut his body, it has like a huge hole on the engine because they moved it so far back. And
really,
yeah. So I don't know like how that came to be, because the car isn't like very front biased to start out with. And then they move everything like not only a little bit, but 10 millimeters back. So, but they had like a prototype chassis and all that.
Okay. Who knows? Maybe do we throw Rivkin into the possible dark horses of DNC?
I don't think too bumpy, in my opinion. Like
really,
that's my take on it. It's I just like he does well when it's smooth, you know. And I mean, this track wasn't smooth.
He would beg to differ with you. I remember I said that to him. He's like, I've podiumed at some of the roughest tracks in the world. It's true.
Yeah, but that was like the US Open where there was like
this was 2017 States where Tebow won. He came third in the Nationals there. It was rough as shit. So okay. I think he can run. He will be back to different. Tell you that he can run and offer conditions.
Okay, he can, but like his DNC record isn't like he did good at Thunder Rally. That's his best DNC.
Okay.
Usually he doesn't do that well at DNC, but I mean he can be fast. He's sort of he can do fast at DNC. It's hard to say, like, if you will.
I just wanted to touch on a few things before we go into something. So this race actually gives quite a lot away. So I think they had a lot of classes. It's like a 52 class and stuff like that. But he had the Invite 40 plus, and that was basically for people like Saxton, Pavidis, Degani, Ronda, and they have 4 8-minute races, and they each made money. I think Greg won $500 in one of the races. He said if he'd have come fourth in his last main, he'd have won $2,000. He would have won the entire thing and won $2,000. So I think lots of OGO bet. I don't even know the amount of stuff he gave up. That's what this way. This man put a lot of money. He has done this 3 years now, and he's giving away more and more each year. So, and then obviously that attracts people. You know what I mean? So the thought of winning something, or like he'll give, if you make the A main, some of these A mains, every person in the A main got something. Like I remember one year everybody in the A main got engines.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like everybody got a bloody OS engine or something like that. So he gives away a lot of stuff. No. So I actually talked to Chris about this because I thoroughly, and the coverage was great by Mod, by the way. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Good job, Matt Olson. He's got a scissor lift. He's going up and down and that. It looked cold and miserable there too. It looked like cold and windy like that time when he was there for RCGP.
Yeah.
But dude, I'm not going to lie. I just looked at this race. I was like, I want to be there because it's so packed. Like if you looked out, like the motor, it was so, I could imagine up on the field how many people there. So anyway, let's talk about the negative real quick. Man, so this race was supposed to be capped at 500, right? So it had 695 entries. So I talked to Chris, like I said, what happened? And he said, basically, his pre-sign up website went down. And he was telling, and people just came anyway, like he was trying to get it fixed. Something happened and he couldn't get it fixed. And like people just came, and he was just telling me like, we couldn't pre-register. The people that pre-registered showed up, and the people that just came, and then when the people that pre-registered showed up, it was just too many. So he was like, they never knew how many pre-registered, I believe. So when they came, it was like, hey, he said, man, I was just giving out tickets to practice and all that stuff, and that's, they shut it on and said it was 695 entries. Also, they had a curfew of 10 o'clock, so they had to get all of this in by 10 o'clock. So there was I'm not going to lie, there was not much runtime for people. I think the last qualifier was, the third qualifier was 4 minutes instead of 5. People didn't get much practice on the day. It was just a 3-day weekend, 3-day race. And then the finals were very short. So I feel sorry for Chris because he gives so much back at this race. And I know people are probably out there thinking like, oh yeah, he charged $100 an entry and he got 695 entries, he probably made $70,000. And you know what? I don't think he did. I think he probably made $70,000, but I don't think he earned $70,000. You know, the amount of money he gave it back. He just told me like a lot of stuff. I was talking to him the other day. So, and you know what? JQ was one of the mouthiest persons about this on Instagram. I was getting so angry at JQ. I was like, just shut up. Like, because I think, so I'm going to say this, like, this is my thought pattern on this. I still believe that capped races, one class, or just having one class per class, like E1, E-Bug, E1, all that stuff, doing it with the, kind of like that way. I enjoy that. I don't want to be at the track all day either. But at the same time, I'm just to the point that these races, this is American racing. It's simple. It's going to be, they want high entries. High entries means a lot. They want as many classes as possible. And they don't mind being there all day because it's an atmosphere and it's a festival, most of these races. Mm-hmm. And I'm coming to the conclusion after watching RCGP last year and watching Isherwood come out of pocket to send me to Europe, and spend all this money to bring all of them guys, the media guys over, all the money that he spent to have 30-something entries, maybe, not even fill out, like, go over to Europe and say 30-something. I know all the money he lost and spent out. And I was just like, nobody should go through this. And Dave as well. Dave has the AMS race. He decided to cap it, all that type of stuff. Doesn't fill up all the time. He has to make money and pay for all that stuff too. I think there needs to be some adjustments in there. So I'm to the conclusion that this is just American racing. High entries, as many entries as possible, as many classes as possible. People want as many chances to be on a podium as possible. Yes, you get more run time, but I don't think it's about run time. I think it's about podiums. They want to get on a podium. They want to have as many chances to get up on a podium and make an A-main. So, in a positive note, these guys got the race over. They did it. Everybody got run time. Everybody got, 3 qualifiers in. They didn't have to cut any qualifiers and stuff like that. The negative note is that online and some of the people that went, like, said, I'm not going anymore. And there's others. Like, I talked to Greg. He's like, I had a great time. I enjoyed myself. Yes, he goes, you didn't get much track time, but, he said that's nothing new. I guess I'm just happy that this guy probably broke even on his track, on his race, because he's told me the numbers prior to this, what he's spent on these races. And I hope he broke even on this, because anybody that does this, and that goes for Joey, Dave, anybody that's put, the point of put on these races is also to make some money. So I don't know, man. I just felt bad for Chris and some of the Facebook stuff. Even what JQ was saying, I wasn't happy about. I told JQ too. Fundamentally, I agree that races should be the other way. That's how I want to see it. But I just think that it's no different. I'm excited about DNC. DNC is going to have 800 plus entries or more. You know what I mean? We're going to be there all day, but I'm excited to go there. So I just come to the conclusion now that there's room for everything in RC. And that it's going to take a longer time for maybe to get these cap races going and stuff like that. But I think that the American way of racing is this. And it's high interest. It's this. And I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. It's just too much involved in that for it to change, in my opinion. So I'm done with that argument. I'm done with that. Two arguments I'm done with. I'm done with that argument. And I'm done with the sportsman, sponsor guys and sportsman class argument, right? So Chris got a lot of flack for this. But I think I was talking to him. He says, next year we're going to stick to everything that we said we're going to do. We're going to cap it. Or he goes, he just said, like, I wasn't prepared for 700 entries. I didn't think we was going to get 700 entries. So he thought he was going to go a little bit over the cap.
I think, I wouldn't be like, I do think what happened wasn't very optimal. Like, because the people who bought into the race, like, they were like, okay, I'm going to get this much qualifiers and that. And then, like, I don't think that was done on purpose, what they did. but I think they should have, thought of it as a possibility. Okay. But that's hindsight's 2020, But for next year, for sure, they should, understand what the situation is and learn from this year. And I think it can go fine.
You know what, man? And I 100% get why people are upset. I get it. Don't get me wrong. I get it. But I'm just saying, look, at the end of the day, I bet you this race will still be full next year.
Yeah, no that's the thing. That's the thing. I'm like,
people will be there next year.
Yeah, like the thing that I'm puzzled about is people can say, "Oh, race X was so shitty," and then they were like, "What, 700 entries at this race, perhaps?" And then next year there's probably more. Even though the overall consensus was this, like some race was poorly organized. I think that he on our race at least tries to do things more right. So I do give him credit for that. I don't like, sincerely, I don't believe, that this was done on purpose. Like, I don't think they wanted to get 700 entries. Obviously they probably made a bit more money, but I don't think like the plan was to do this.
The amount of stuff that this guy gives away, I don't even want to know how much money he spends out just on giving stuff away. Yeah,
but it's also like you have to sort of count in this TNR promotion too. So there's like many aspects of how you want.
Yeah, this is also could be written off as an advertising.
Exactly. So there's lots of ways you can look at it, but I think the most important takeaway is like learn from what went wrong this year. What went right, which is that people like this type of atmosphere, at least the giveaways, the brand of the race, people like it, so you're on the right track. But perhaps, like, and I think Chris fully understands it. So I'm not going to be,
Hey, as a fan, as a spectator, I enjoyed the race. I got to see, I watched the entire race. I got to see some good racing. I watched a lot of the expert stuff and all that as well. So I watched it. I enjoyed it. And kudos to all the people that won something. Kudos to Spencer Rivkin. He was on fire. And for me, I look forward. Hopefully I'll be there next year. Max, we've been on high.
I kind of want to talk about just this American style of, fuck ton of entries.
Look, you know what? Let's do that in a rant. In our conclusion.
Okay.
Let's do that in a round on our conclusion. All right. Now we're going to go into, we don't have many questions. So we're going to breeze through this. And then we're going to go into our main interview with Chase Ehrlich of RaceCraft USA. So let's get on with, you know what? Beach RC, bench racing, Q&A.
BeachRC.com, the racers' one-stop online hobby shop. Choose from all the popular brands and variety in stock with super fast shipping and great customer service. BeachRC.com still has the local hobby shop feel with all the benefits of the internet. BeachRC.com is the exclusive distributor for Ultimate Racing, JQ Racing, Pro Circuit Racing Tires, Nitro Lux Fuels, and Assault RC Performance products. So fill up your cart and check out at BeachRC.com today.
Thank you to Brent and Beach RC for the continued support. A brick and mortar hobby shop servicing you online, also with a track and at your local trackside support. Check them out. We have an affiliate link in the written description of this podcast. It really helps us out. Use it if you can. Thank you to Brent and Lucas and everybody. All right, so we have not too many questions this week, Max, but let's get going. We have a few. This first one, we're going to start off with Benjamin James. He asked this question again because the questions got missed. It didn't get missed. We actually did talk about it. But what do you think of the idea of a battlefield promotion in RC? He wants to explain it. It's on the PGA development circuit, now known as the Corn Ferry Tour. If a player wins 3 tournaments before the end of the year, they are promoted to the PGA Tour for the rest of the year. What do you think about it if a racer wins their class, say by Sportsman, Nitro Buggy, at 3 regional or national level events? They are moved up to the intermediate for the rest of the year, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, apparently this is how it's supposed to be at some of these events. Like race time, if you win Sportsman, you get bumped up. It's just not.
But here's the thing.
It's just nobody. You know what it comes down to? It ain't nobody that wants to organize this shit.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's what it comes down to.
That's like in the current, current climate of RC races, where it's private races with no federation backing, no even like proper organization backing. You don't need to have a license, no nothing.
Yeah.
How do you organize?
You can't even.
There's absolutely no way. And like the thing is, this one guy registered under a fake name to run on both pro and intermediate last year, and he made it until the finals before people figured that out. So how do you think something like this would work? And like the idea itself, that's exactly how it should work, That's exactly, but there isn't no one can organize a ranking. The federation is nowhere involved. And it's just that there's so many things to fix before anything like this could be implemented. And that's the whole reason why something like sportsman and intermediate are, there really isn't any place for them, really. Like any justification. It's just
there's no separation. It's just a separation of. There's no mechanical separation. It's an imaginary line.
It's exactly like, what do you consider yourself? That's the only separation.
And so in the UK, right, how they do it is you rank yourself when you go to what out of 1 to 150 or whatever. Where I said, and if you rank yourself low and they see you're fast, they just bump you up into different. But that's also just one class. So they'll just bump you up into a heat where if there's people of that same speed.
Yeah,
so, but the difference is that all takes organization and the federation and the back.
Like the British have one of the strongest federations in the whole world in considering RC. They said like the people they have, like you can just go to BRCA website and look at that, and then go to any other federation website and look at that and compare the level of that. Like BRCA is so much more organized. They actually have some like actual structure.
Right.
There.
First off, you'd have to say what is considered so I always come back to race time, because race time can do this, because they have 5 races, which generally has the same people that go to all 4 of these races, all go to, they all go to the same races. Now Joe is a little bit different, because it's going to be not just in California. I don't think the California guy is going to go over to Texas. So it could work in a scheme like in a situation like Dave and his guys. But man, look, man, it's them guys. You know what, man? It would take 1 or 2 people just to dedicate themselves to doing this. And the amount of time and effort put into this is not worth it. There's not going to be any money coming out of it.
Exactly. There's no extra money coming out of this. And also, like, who is the one who determines this? Like, who is the one, like, this is the definitive line of sportsman and intermediate. And then instead of going to one of Joey's races or race time races, they could just go to a TNR race.
The level of sportsman is different at different races.
Exactly. So
the level of sportsman, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. The level of sportsman at DNC and expert is a little bit higher than the level of sportsman and intermediate at I'm going to say this, at a PNB.
Oh, 100%. No doubt. No doubt about it.
It's just because it's a different group of people. That's the same reason why, like, that's what people understand. Like, sportsmen in the Pacific Northwest isn't the same as sportsmen in the Southeast or the Northeast. It's different. Like, so the level of sportsmen and intermediate isn't equal on all forms. Like, there's guys that are sportsman drivers in the Southeast that can go up to the Pacific Northwest, and they're probably intermediate drivers, or vice versa. Or when you can be a pro level driver in the Southeast, but when you go to DNC, you're like intermediate.
Yeah.
Like your lap times are intermediate. So there's not even no level, no balance in that. Mm-hmm. So it just is what it is. I get what he's saying, but you got to take all of that into consideration. All right, moving on. Conny Svensson just released House of RC 2.0. He's on this podcast as well to talk about it. I ask as a personal question, as a founder of the House of RC, Version 2.0 was just released. What is the biggest opportunity for this platform in your eyes? And what is the biggest challenge? I want appreciate constructive but sincere feedback. So for me, what I'd like is all my socials integrated on this. So,
yeah, 100%. I think
he does have Facebook and YouTube, but I want all of them. And then I would say, if I could have that, and then if there was a tool that I can operate them from that too as well. So if everything was integrated. So like if I posted on House of RC, it posted on my Facebook and my Instagram. I know that's freaking impossible almost, but and I would love for my Instagram to be integrated in there and my TikTok. That's my YouTube's on there and my Facebook. But for me, that's what I would like as a user, because there's two big platforms I use.
Yeah, I think that the House of RC would be best when it's integrated into, like, for example, in Europe, it should be integrated into a lot of EFRA things. Like instead of creating your EFRA account, you would create a House of RC account, and then you would like have an EFRA confirmation. That's one thing. So that would be you wouldn't have to have hundreds of different RC accounts to register to races, That's one opportunity this would offer. Then I think the biggest issue is just that people don't really want to subscribe to new platforms. So the biggest thing would be to people to use this tool as their, sort of a CV. I don't see.
I agree. We talk about that, but I also think, all right, so I'm going to talk constructively from people that sign up for RCGP.
Mm-hmm.
Some people just want to sign the fuck up. They don't want to just want to put their name down. They don't want to put this. They don't want to make a profile. They don't want to do all this stuff. They don't want to do that. And like to sign up for, I remember one of my mates said, man, I got to do all this stuff. Some people just don't want to do that. Be honest. Some people just don't want to do that. Just want to say, hey, here's my transponder number. Here's this. Here's my name. Blah, blah, blah. So I think there has to be a middle ground there somewhere. So
yeah, I think it's hard, because if you want a platform like this to work,
you have to gather the information.
Yes, exactly. So it's kind of hard, because if you want people to use it, then you have to make it so that people don't have to commit to it. But if you want to get any good use of it, then you it's. I think it's sort of like there's no way to sort of get it like perfect. It's not going to work for everyone, and it's hard because the way I have learned to use it is to use as a hub for all my RC information. If someone has a question about, kind of a link tree, but focused on RC, and then you can also use it for your tracks, use it for everything. You can find information. So I think that's the biggest tool of it. And I think it should work much, much more closely together with race organizers and with EFRA and ROAR and IFMA. And it's not like I don't think Conny is the one holding that part back.
No.
It's
that's
the other people.
Yeah.
That's my because currently we are so disorganized as a whole RC community, and a tool like this, which is like professionally created and actually works, I think that's something we should come together more. And the thing is, people don't understand that the software is integrated already into you can easily transfer results from and to Live RC or My RCM or even Everlapse, I believe. So you don't even have to you don't have to use a specific system. So it's versatile across different systems too. So I think it's just about finding a way to make it easy enough for people to commit to it, and then gathering the audience to use it. I think the system itself there isn't some silver bullet I see, but I think that's the biggest obstacle of House of RC currently. It's getting people to use it the way it should be. And I think like getting through EFRA and stuff like that would be the first one.
Cool. Next question. Christensen Adam, is Lefty going to the Philippine Masters 2023? I would love to, but they would need to see my value and comment there. But I would love to go to that race one day. Hopefully they see. I would love for them to get good coverage too. So hopefully they see that. Also, Ryan Gamber. Why do they call the highest level products hobby grade? That seems to belittle the sport. Why aren't they referred to as competition grade or performance grade? Those that are spending thousands of dollars to compete in the competitions with scale vehicles is more than just a hobby. While watching the off-road RC race on TV, every time they mention hobby grade, it seemed to make the competition and the drivers less serious. Here's why. Because our industry doesn't want to accept this as a sport. We still have this argument going on out there that this is a hobby. So this is how I'm going to explain it. Bashing, crawling, that type of stuff. That's the hobby side of RC. That's the big side, you know? There's also a hobby racing side as well. But the racing side, like that's competition. That's serious. There's professional guys out there. It's a sport. Like these guys get paid. There are people that literally get paid to just race. So the industry has to accept it as a sport first. We need to get rid of this argument. So that's my answer to that. Quick and simple. I agree with you. It should be considered a sport first by the industry. Do you agree with that, Max?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I think, I don't even know why you would call it hobby grade. I haven't, I guess it's an American thing, but in Europe, it's really not like that.
Right, I guess, well, when they say hobby grade, they mean like race grade. That's what they mean.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, David Booher, he wants to know how much track time does an RC2 driver get on an RCGP weekend? Come on, Max, you got to have this math in your head.
I do remember it was double to DNC. So I think DNC was about 60 minutes.
I think it was 102 minutes or something, 100 and plus minutes with one class.
It was. I do remember, like if you run 2 classes at DNC, you were still below what you would get running RC2.
Yes.
So it was a bit over double from DNC. It was around, it wasn't around 100 or 120 minutes there.
Yeah, I think it was around about that.
Full track there. Yeah.
I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, but effectively, you would get at the very least double or triple racing time compared to DNC, and like track time was double. So,
what are you clicking? A pen?
Oh, I have my drive shaft.
I've been hearing all the time. All right, so we have some Instagram story questions. DT.racing53. What went so wrong for the likes of Tamiya and soon Kyosho for them to have to disband their race teams? I just think that they were smarter, maybe. Maybe they said, we don't need to race anymore. We're going to just,
here's the thing. They are like, the thing common about these two brands is that they have a big name in model things, like not RC racing.
But Kyosho did.
No, but even if you think about it, like for us, Kyosho is like the prestigious model brand. But for normal people, those were you saw a Kyosho store at the mall, That's the thing that other people know about. Tamiya is a huge thing in like anything scale, scale models and stuff like that. So those two companies realized that there's no point in trying to
hold on. Kyosho is still in racing at this point.
I mean,
they're still in racing. They got lots.
They're only, like Joseph has said,
not like what they used to be.
But if Conny stopped Kyosho would go away.
Okay.
Like racing side of Kyosho. Basically, what Tamiya realized that there was no point in trying to put so much money into the racing scene with basically making a zero. Like at the best case, they make a little bit of profit, but most of the time they make a loss or a zero, as their earnings. Instead, what they could do is what they're doing now is making collectibles, scale models, all of this type of stuff where they buy rights to some car, like a WRC Subaru. They make a scale model of it. Assembly of it takes a few hours at best, like at worst, actually. So they could assemble a car like that would sell out at stores for like $300-$400. They could make that in at the worst case scenario, you can make that at an hour, and they pay that worker in the Philippines or in somewhere in Asia, maybe a few dollars for their job. The manufacturing cost would be probably below $50. So you're effectively making like more than 50% profit off of this product, because the value of it is how it looks, not how it performs. And instead of spending first probably almost 50% of your sales to just marketing, having a racing team, marketing your brand across different races, and then competing for a very, very small, very product critical part of the customer base, and the profits have to be very small because people will buy often what's the cheapest, the profits for hobby shops to sell an RC car, like a race kit, that's almost non-existent. Like most companies, most hobby shops sell these kits at almost a loss, but the parts is what makes them some money, and that's the issue. The racing side of the RC industry became non-profitable after people who had knowledge of how to use a CAD software and found a contact in Asia could make a car. That's the issue. Like basically it's just like you need to be very passionate about it to make it work. Or you have to outsmart the competition or be big enough where you don't really have to do anything to make it work, like Horizon. So there's very few avenues of making it profitable. And also one thing that puts into this is that in America, like racing side is really big, like durability, like high quality. That's what Americans value. In Asia, it's more about, like drifting, it isn't about, we want to be this serious racing. I want to pimp out my ride. No, they want to make something like paint the body nicely and make it look like a real scale stuff. And that's why
the majority of the world, Max, the majority of the world wants that.
True. That is
you
true.
said something that explained this in one grasp to me. And then I want to move on because we have a few more questions, right? We got to banana this. You said something. You said people are buying this car more for looks, so performance doesn't matter. Yes. What they're doing is taking very similar chassis parts, shortening up, doing that, and making a car that works with that body on there. They're also very good at making a racing class out of this back in the day. To me,
yeah. So they still do.
So people
like small racing,
right? So even with racing, like look how many. Like I'm sitting on the NPC meeting, and I'm like, oh, we're gonna try this, and because in racing, it's not about looks, it's about performance. So performance is something that never ending. You're always going to be gaining that. So whereas the performance of that car that looks like a real car is mute because it looks like a real car. So that's probably one of the simplest ways to explain it. And I would 100% agree with that. And Tamiya just kind of sort of like they probably just got tired of that. Like, and it's like, hey, you know, we're just going to go back to making what we do, what we like, and people are still like they're doing all the re-releases, and people just I want some Tamiya cars. So I agree. One more question. When he says Knives Mikey asked me, when am I coming back to Beach RC? Hopefully for Masters of Dirt this year. All right, so we have a few YouTube questions. We're going to go through this, and then we're going to go into our main interview. Roach RC, Max, I don't want you to go 100% science made on this. Go short.
Yeah.
Between each e-buggy that allow you to run saddle packs, X-Ray, AE, Kyosho, etc., which one got it right, if at all, and are the performance benefits worth over running a standard 4S stick pack or 4S shorty?
I mean, AE and X-Ray are pretty much the same layout. I don't think there's almost any difference there. Kyosho is interesting because it's so different. Very high, roll inertia. So batteries way off to the side, makes the car really calm, really low center of gravity. So the issue is though that I don't think any of them got it right. I think, and also Serpent was the OG of the saddle design. So the thing is that design is nice. But I don't think any of those designs are this is the overall the best. There are benefits to all of them, but there are also major deficits to all of them. The stock e-buggy layout of what old AE had, Mugen has, and that is quite good. But there could be some improvements there too. It's hard to say. This is something I've been sort of working with currently, trying to figure out what would be actually the best layout. I do believe the sort of HB Tekno layout, also the JQ had the same layout. I believe that layout is quite good because it can allow for the best weight balance out there of the current layouts. So that's why I think it's quite good. But yeah, I don't. I'm gonna test this stuff out more.
I see. I believe One Army has made a saddle pack conversion for the HB. All right. Moving on. Marcus Goral. He asked more than one question. Did your camera die? Let's put your. Can we put your avatar up? There we go. There's Max. Always dies when you got to run and making a whole bunch of noise. All right. Second question. Does it make sense to run only 1 degree toe in the rear axle and make the differential sticker for that? Furthermore, could you compensate with less steering angle and caster? I would have to get his first question, and I don't know where his first question is. Maybe we're going to have to come back to that.
Well, I don't know, I wouldn't say toe-in is related to, it's somewhat related to diff stiffness, but I wouldn't, generally the issue is when you lower toe-in, you're going to have issues with exiting corners with the rear end sort of oversteering. So going to a stiff rear diff doesn't really help that. Okay. It actually makes it even worse. I think people think of toe-in a little bit wrong. You should consider toe-in as a resisting motion to the rotation of the car. So when you turn the steering wheels, having more toe-in means that the rear end is restricting the front end steering of the car. So that's sort of the basis of toe-in. That's how you should think about it, not as a way to create or lose grip from the rear, even though it does that kind of, but that's not the why that feeling happens. Now, the other one was about caster and steering angle. Again, these two aren't necessarily related. One thing you should think about caster is...
No, he wants to compensate with less steering angle
Well, like caster has two effects. One effect, which in my opinion is the more dominant one, is that it transfers weight from the outside tire to the inside tire once you're steering. Now, this is why more caster usually handles better on high-speed corners, because on high speed you have more weight, like especially when you turn, you have much more weight transfer to the outside tire because, I mean, you're trying to change your direction at a higher speed. So that's why when you have more caster, you transfer some of the weight balance to the inside tire once you turn the wheel. Now, steering angle necessarily doesn't affect this. You will have more steering in low speed with higher caster at the sort of end point of the corner because your inner tire is at more of an angle, so it's kind of digging into the ground. And your front outside tire isn't braking grip. So effectively, yes, you could say that you could compensate more caster with less steering lock. But then again, it's a little bit different thing because
you're going too deep. You're going science mode. You're trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Let's go on to the next question because this actually is talking about the same thing. It might be the same person actually, but under a different name. He asks, for 1/8 buggy, what is the way to tell if I'm running rear diff fluid that is too thick versus a rear sway bar that's too heavy, causing the inside tire to lift and diff out? I get what he's saying here. So he wants to know basically if his sway bar is too heavy and it's causing the one tire to lift up and diff out, or does he have too thick a diff in diff oil in the rear?
Well, it's always kind of like when you have a thick diff, the car doesn't want to rotate in. So a thick rear differential makes it so that the car starts to rotate more once you go on power. And the sway bar is kind of what affects the weight on the inside tire. So that's the diff generally doesn't make the rear inner tire lift up. And a thicker diff will actually lessen that diffing out. So unless you're running a really soft diff, then the rear inside tire shouldn't diff out because of the diff. It's rather, because of the two stiff sway bar. Okay. So generally, if the car doesn't rotate going into the corner and rotates out, you have too stiff of a rear diff. If the inner tire is lifting, but there isn't massive difference in and out of the corner, then it's sway bar. That would be my, guess.
Okay, cool. Kevin Mendez, what's up, Kevin? How you doing? My question is, those who have the MX-8 regional kits, as revisions come out and updates come, will we be able to apply those to the existing platform in the MX-8 Progress?
Yes. I don't think we generally haven't had any parts which wouldn't fit the kits. I think most of the parts will be straight updated to the current car. And for at least the next 3 years, I don't think we're going to have a major revamp of the...
Right, like a whole exist. Yeah, I get what you mean. Nothing that can be applied to the other car. And our final question, thank you, Kevin. Thank you for the support, my brother. If I won the lottery, this comes from Just Joe 887. If I won the lottery, how much money do I have to give you to make Max go away from the show forever? I said $10 million after taxes. He said, I got a good feeling 30 million would do the job. I think that's 30 million. Yeah. Hopefully we can find out one day. I say, Max, if I get 30 million, I'm giving you 10.
Yeah, I'd be happy to quit the show if someone paid you 30 million.
All right. I think that's all of our questions. I thought we didn't have a lot, but we did spend a lot of time on them. Thank you, Max. Thank you to everybody for sending the questions out to us. Really, hit up our IG because we're doing some cool stuff on the Instagram, especially our stories, asking a lot of questions there. Go check it out. All right, Max. So we're going to go on to the Tekno RC main interview with my boy, RaceCraft USA the dude Chase Ehrlich. And then also after that, we'll have Conny Svensson on with his House of RC 2.0 update or tutorial. And then we're going to go into a rant. You'll be back for a slight rant and conclusion. So thank you to Tekno RC for all their support. Thank you to Beach RC for all their support. And thank you to everybody for the Beach RC bench racing questions. And now thank you to Tekno RC for their continued support. And thank you for Chase Ehrlich for his time and coming on, and RaceCraft as well for their support for coming on and talking with me.
Tekno RC. Tekno RC. Tekno RC is a premium manufacturer specializing in 8th and 10th scale high-performance off-road RC buggies and trucks. Visit www.teknorc.com for a complete catalog of their products. Tekno RC. Excellence in engineering. Hashtag Tekno Takeover.
Joining me this week is a good friend of mine. He hasn't been on this podcast for quite some time. He's been on a lot of people's podcasts this year, which is good. It's always a good time. And Iran, we got the dude, or Chase and Ehrlich, aka the dude of RaceCraft USA. What's up, dude? How are you?
What's happening, dude? I can't believe it's been 2 years since we last were on together. It flew by. This is crazy.
I know, and a lot has changed in 2 years. You've become really popular. RaceCraft's become popular, but still, the videos are dropping. They're fun. They still got that skateboard feel to it, which I really love. What I really liked about RaceCraft when you first started was that old school 80s, not 90s skateboard feeling, skate video feeling. So that's good to see. I should have researched which episode you was on, but for those that don't know, Chase here is a former professional skater turned RC guy, and he's brought that skate feel, I think, to RC with the RaceCraft guys. And since that 2 years, like the RaceCraft's grown a lot. Like you guys have pushed out a lot of products. You just had a restock of the command module come in and sell out. You have your flock foils, you have your apparel that you've done, one-off t-shirts, like the world t-shirts, but I still need to get myself one. Hats, I can't wear this hat, it's too small for me. But I have my other RaceCraft hat, but it's at the house, like that, which I really like. So you guys, and my cup, which my wife claimed, like she's like, oh yeah, I'm taking that. I didn't get a chance to use it. Just took it. She took my cup that you gave me, and she's like, "You always bring the, I want one that someone gives you," and she took that one, so she uses that. So she, don't worry, she makes the RaceCraft name proud because lots of whiskey has been in that cup.
Well, that's what it was made for.
I know it's really excellent. So man, you guys have just been, and on top of this, you guys have traveled to a few races as a group. You're racing almost every weekend there in SoCal. Right now, SoCal 8-scale racing is hot. Right, not right now, because as the time recording, it's just raining a lot. But yeah, man, tell us a little bit about what's been going on in your last 2 years. You and your son are racing a lot more as well, which is great. You got a Volkswagen, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Volkswagen. So yeah, just I guess start from there. RaceCraft's been pretty good, I would say.
It's been fun, dude. Like, it's really, these past 2 years have really flown by with constantly staying busy with trying to stay on top of new things. And, we do a lot of video edits and stuff like that. So I try and stay on top of that. And like you said, with the 90s skateboard vibe, that's really all I know. So that's just kind of where that comes from. A lot of that is definitely influenced. That the whole industry is built on pro, skater video parts and things like that. So that's why you see me singling out a lot of our drivers and doing separate edits just for them, and doing like video parts for the drivers. And that's kind of, I think that's pretty fun and cool to do, and kind of catch their lifestyle in with the videos as well. So you kind of get a little piece of them and you get driving, try and make it a little even on getting to know these guys, as well as trying to do the coolest footage I can, and getting different angles and editing and stuff like that to most of the time some good punk rock, but sometimes we slip a little bit of reggae or some metal in
I see that.
I don't know any rap songs. So, I mean, obviously the old school stuff, but like, I don't know what any really.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm kind of learning all that myself as I go. I come to think of it, I think one video that sticks out to me that you made last year, which when I watched it over and over, and I was like, man, this just reminds me of public domain days, was the Jimmy Fishback short clip that you done. I think, that's his name, Jimmy Fishback.
Yeah. That was the footage of him from the Wally Builds compound, right?
I believe so, but it was just cool, like the shot that you got of him and the way you had to, like whatever you edited with, and you put some. It just looked. I was like, this reminds me of like 1990s public domain Paul Peralta videos, stuff like that.
Nice. And I actually filmed that stuff. One of our other local drivers filmed that stuff of Jimmy for that. So I can't take credit for that footage, but definitely the tunes and the editing.
That was good. It was good. I really like that style. It's been great. RaceCraft's been, I see people rocking RaceCraft gear all over America now. You guys have really, because you got Cole Ogden and Kyle Neary on board. So them guys are really, Southeast has become a area where you guys have grown a lot. Also another area where there's a lot of 8-scale racing going on as well in America. So Only Natural, you guys just recently went over, last year, the last really big race, you went to AMS over there. I saw some video from you guys. I heard about the copious amounts of alcohol drank there. I was told it should be measured in gallons.
Yeah, I mean, we actually kept it pretty mellow. I just captured the highlights, after the racing was done. We like to socialize. We all took that race pretty serious. We all wanted to go out there and do good, so we kept the partying during the day pretty mellow, but then turned it up at night. And when Casey Wilson's around and TJ Bradley, it's like
TJ likes to party.
Turns into a pretty.
And then the dude who was riding the stretcher, I met him at Masters. Oh my gosh, he must have been so hungover the next day. It must have been painful. He must have been sore.
It had to be. I lost your video really quick. I was getting a call on my phone.
I'm still there.
Okay, I don't know how to go back to it though.
Are you off? Video's gone?
No, there we go. No, I just switched to a different screen.
Okay, so we had a blooper. Yeah, dude who fell off the stretcher a few times. He must have been sore, and he must have been hurting in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, I think he went for it like 4 times. So I'm actually kind of stoked that he didn't make it actually all the way down, because I think the slams would have been worse if he actually made it past the ramp, because there was a lot of stuff going on after the ramp that could have been
harmful.
Yeah, for sure. Because like right where he was, I don't know if anybody knew, but that was like right on the edge of the arena. So if he fell off the one side, it would have been, like straight to the ground. But if he would have been to the other side, it would have been the ground plus like 10 feet.
Oh, yeah, that would have hurt. So that would have hurt.
Dude's got a set of balls, man. I was pretty impressed.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Let's talk about the RaceCraft products. Like I said, flock foil seems to be very popular for you guys. 3D printed front wings.
Yeah, that one came kind of out of. We didn't expect it to be as popular as it is, and it's freaking awesome. We're stoked. We're picking those things out like crazy.
How's the longevity of them compared to like the Lexan front wings?
I've never had a Lexan front wing. I've had some carbon ones before, and they were sweet. But they do really well. I mean, people do break them on impacts and stuff like that, but they definitely are tougher than you would imagine. They're really thick, and
they come in different colors.
Yes, we've got I don't know, like 9 or 10 colors now. I mean, we're dropping a new color every time a team guy's like, "Hey, dude, why don't you make this color and give me some of those?" So we'll drop a new color for pretty much everybody. We got signature colors for our team guys and stuff like that, and that's why we knew they were going to break. This would be our first semi-consumable product. Everything else we make pretty much lasts forever. So we kind of wanted to. That's not the best business plan.
But front wings are disposable. Like Lexan wings and front wings are like things that are gonna, like shark boots.
Yeah, so
they're eventually gonna be broken.
we at least wanted to do like a warranty kind of thing with that. And that's why we sell them in pairs. So if you have an impact or something like that and it breaks, at least you got another backup and you're not going through the whole process of ordering through us for just a single wing. You're getting 2 every time you order one.
Okay. And then I saw the restock of command modules. They went out instantly. So that's good.
Dude, it's crazy that, people are still getting those and the numbers that they're getting them at. We're stoked. We're stoked.
That's good.
Yeah.
And then the G block restock as well. That's always a hit. Very convenient pieces. Any new plans for any new accessories for the command module in the future?
Right now we just kind of are constantly flying off the hip. So if something pops in our brain that we think is cool, we'll make it. Okay. With us bringing back the command modules, obviously we needed to bring back a restock of G blocks for all those people that ordered the command modules, so that we had enough for everybody if they wanted to partake in those. You don't want the command module running around naked.
No, not at all. But what I really like what you guys have done is your brand apparel, your hats, your windbreakers. You teamed up with True Source, TJ and Daniel. Did some one-run world shirts like RaceCraft, True Source stuff. I think this is cool. I think we can make RC shirts that are cool and not just sponsor shirts and like every single sponsor on my name on the back. I think they can be cool. This is an RC shirt, myself and my boy RC Vitals. We can make shirts that are RC related, but can still be cool to wear out and stuff like that as well.
Absolutely. And it's all these brands coming together, doing collabs and stuff like that. I just think it's rad. It shows that we truly are a community and all of our homies are always helping each other and, promoting each other and doing cool stuff. I'd like to see more of it across other brands as well. That would be sweet.
Yeah. Who came up with the idea for the Worlds theme?
It was actually like, we were just talking and TJ hit me up and he's like, we should do a collab RaceCraft tee. And then somehow it turned into a collab Worlds tee. And then, we drew it up. Walker Spinrad drew up the logo for the back, the pirate or the skeleton guy in the flamingo tube, and it kind of just worked out, with the Worlds, with them holding both the flags and everything. It's cool, Yeah,
it was cool, very cool. Are we gonna see any more clothing products coming out from you guys, range, or can we expect any type of products from RaceCraft in the next couple of months?
Absolutely. There's a new shirt in the works right now. And then we're going to be doing a restock on our beanie. And then we're going to bring in a new color for our beanie that I think will be sweet. And, we got some other stuff down the pipeline. I love apparel, man. It's fun to design, fun to, go through the whole process with the apparel and put it on after you've done all that. I don't know if a lot of people know what it takes to actually put out something new, but it's a long process, and you're going through samples and different designs and things like that, and it takes a little while to do. So then when we drop it, we're really proud of it, and we push the hell out of it.
Well, I think we need to see even these drivers maybe coming up with signature apparel. Maybe they can have their logo a funny, like I would love, I think like Cole Ogden's want to be when he was on that moped, when he was on that scooter at DNC. That would have been a great shirt.
Yeah, that would be a good shirt for sure.
But we see this in other hobbies. Sports as well. Skating. Each. Well, I remember guys have their decks that they can use, and their graphics. Maybe we can see something like this for these drivers in the future. Get the imaginations going, and I know I'd rock some driver shirts.
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of in that industry, skaters also get like their own line of clothing, where it'll just be like a whole line of said pro. And yeah, that would be totally cool.
I think so. All right. Another thing, you was also in the Southeast recently. You went over to, that was funny. I like how you throw like all this product into a suitcase and like, this is what I'm packing to go. Look, I see your son is peeking in the back.
Yeah, he just got home from school.
What's up, Hunter?
Keenan says, "What's up? You want to say hi?" Hi.
What's up? How you doing?
Good.
You ready to do your tire marshal hustle at the warm up?
Well,
it's gonna be a lot of work.
It got delayed from rain, but he's stoked to get out there and hustle a little bit of money for hustling on the track.
Yeah, lots of people don't like the tire marshal, so you should be all right.
Right on. See you later, buddy.
Yeah, man. Cool. He's getting big. He's getting tall. How old is he now?
He's taller than me. He's 13.
Okay, yeah, he's growing up fast.
I'm just a little guy, so
he's growing up fast. All right. So you headed over to Beach RC to be a part of Wheel and Trigger, which is Brent's new podcast, which I really like. He was like, "You got to see my studio." When I said, "Master, you got to see my studio. You got to see my studio." Never got to see it. Right across the road. Never got to see it.
I know he's gonna. It's in its infancy right now, and there's just a couple things on the walls and stuff like that, but it's coming together really good. He's got some nice stuff, and he's got his own little producer dude. I believe his name is Robert, and he can pull up stuff on the TV, and it was a fun experience, man. I mean, we were pretty loose on that podcast. I'm a little bit nervous for it to come out.
Yeah. As we're recording this, it hasn't dropped yet. It will drop, I think, the week after the following Monday after we record this, and it will probably be a week after that this is out. But I'm looking forward to see. I like the in-guests, having the guests in-house. He's able to do that as well. And having a producer makes it a whole lot. I've been trying to get a producer to help me out with these as well. But yeah, man, I like that. And I encourage any type of content like that to be made. Yeah. And Brent's he likes talking about stores, and it's a little bit different from, it's like getting and just talking like you're talking at a bar. You know what I mean?
That's a lot more of what the podcast is kind of less RC and just kind of shooting the shit.
Yeah, well, see, I'm drinking a beer now because you had some beer. So I said, let me go get one.
Well, man.
So we can have this discussion. So yeah, that's really cool. Brent's blowing up. Beach RC's blowing up. It's definitely blowing up there on the West Coast. That's great to see all over America. He puts a lot of money back into racing side of things. So it's good to see him reap those rewards.
Got a lot going on, man.
I know.
I just got to spend a day in the life with him for that weekend, and he's a busy dude. I know. He's got his hands in a lot of hats. So he's a great thing for RC, that's for sure.
Yes, for sure. I think he'll be at DNC, so that'd be good. All right, let's talk about racing and whatnot in SoCal, because right now there's two hot spots of racing. It's Florida is probably the hottest, is in the southeast. Lots of racing going on there, 10 scale, 8 scale, on-road. Lots of racing. It's like the California of the East Coast. And then where you guys in SoCal, it's booming. I mean, you got hot rods on Tuesday night. You got Friday night lights at the Dart. Saturday, there'll be a race somewhere. I don't know if there's a club race there. I'm sure there's some races I've missed. But in 8 scale wise, right now, well, not right now because it's raining, but you guys are booming. Like it's you every weekend. There's a somewhat big race. When I mean big race, like there'll be like fast SoCal guys there, Pavitas, Drake, all these guys there. You guys go in there. It seems to be a very healthy atmosphere going there, especially at the Dart. Now that it's got the 10 scale track there. I saw you race. Did you race there recently?
I've raced there twice now with Cody Thompson's borrowed short course truck because I don't have a 10 scale car and my Mini B. So working on getting on something, but.
So where is that? Is that on the side where the practice tracks were?
No, it's right when you drive in to the left. Right when you go through the gates, you look to the left and it's right there.
Oh, okay. So I don't. That's pretty good. Is it like an old school track, gets rough and all that type of stuff as well?
Yeah. It's it got a little too rough for the Mini B last weekend, but the first weekend they had their hangover nationals the day after New Year's. Mm-hmm. Track was butter, so the Mini B was getting around really good. But yeah, it's sick, man. You know, everybody's running step pin tires and open cell foams, and you know, it's cool to see. You know, it's cool to see, and there's some bigger jumps than you would normally see on a 10 scale track. Mm-hmm. Really, and it's a lot of fun. I'm hooked on it. You know, so I'll be getting some 10 scale cars and things like that, and definitely hanging out there more often.
So also he does an on-road track there under the pavilion. Did they continue with the carpet track, or that's going the carpet off-road track?
The carpet kind of never caught on like it needed to sustain keeping it there the whole time, but the on-road is just off the hook, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's people there every day practicing, and, you know, he's clubbing all the time with that. You know, Brian Wright runs that side of it, and yeah, it's popping, man. You know, they got a really nice track now. You know, it just looks pro, and it's covered, and there's lights, and that's really all you need.
I would say so. And then, of course, how's Friday night's lights being received? Joey is racing every weekend. I know he has his one-off, maybe a slightly bigger race or maybe a Saturday race, but Friday night seems to be the place to be in SoCal for HTR racing.
I look forward to it every Friday. You know, that's the time to get off work and go hang out with your buddies, and you know, on any given night there could be pros there, but definitely always the locals there, the fast locals, and you know, people travel over there just for Friday night lights and stuff like that. But I mean, between the dirt, Thunder Alley, now Palm Desert's going to have a solid program with Adam Drake running it, and then Channel Islands and Hot Rod. I mean, you couldn't ask for any more. You know, there's, like you said, there's always something going on every weekend. You know, it's almost like you kind of got to, you know, like take a weekend off, because, I mean, nothing's getting done around the house because every weekend you're spinning at the track. I mean, my grass is like a foot high right now. I don't have time. You know, there's just too much fun to be had. I'd rather go have fun than mow the lawn and pick up dog shit, you know?
Yeah, I make my son pick up dog shit. And your son's racing with you? Is he getting into it more now? Are you still able to keep him racing and excited now that he's getting older?
I mean, he's excited about it to go every time we go. He doesn't go as much as I do, obviously, but he loves it when he's there, you know, but it's not something that he's 100% focused on. He likes doing his gaming and stuff like that a little bit more, you know? So, you know, he'll get, you know, like Christmas money, and I'm like, so you want to maybe buy a new car or do this? And he's like, no, I'm going to get a new freaking flux capacitor for my computer or whatever the hell he wants to get. And that's what he chooses to spend his money on. So I don't think he's there, but it's cool because it's just a fun, you know, RC is a fun thing for him. And he comes out and has a blast whenever he comes, you know. Obviously, for like the multiple day races and stuff like that, he's not coming around. But, you know, club races on a Saturday or things like that. They just had the turkey race at the dirt, which was pretty stacked in the sportsman class. It was 3 or 4 heats in that class, and he ended up winning it. So that was rad. That was a cool moment for us. And, you know, I think he knows that it's time that I'm like, okay, you know, if I'm going to be working on your car, I want you to sit right next to me and start learning this stuff. But
right, he can't go out and play and all that stuff. Yeah, hang out.
And if he doesn't want to help me participate with it, his car is going to sit there on the shelf. You know, got you. It's ready to go, but it ain't going to be in tip-top shape when he comes out. You know, and he knows that, but he's just out there to have fun. So he doesn't care.
Yeah, but it's gaming, man. Gaming's so big. Like, my son loves gaming, and he likes the RC stuff, but it's like, if let's go do something, like let's go do some crawling or whatever. So it's gaming, man. It's hard to compete with.
Yeah.
I still think RC is cooler though. I still think it's cooler. Well, so what's next for you? I know you guys have the next probably big size race you guys have coming up there in California is the TNR race.
Yeah.
Will you be going to that?
I'll be going. I got my daughter has a play on main day. So yeah, it's between 12 to 4, like the worst hours that the play could possibly be. So I'm going to go out on Saturday, hang out a little bit, drop off our raffle prizes for the big raffle. And it just sucks, dude, because, you know, it's my favorite race of the year. It's the only one I was looking forward to. I wasn't really planning on doing DNC this year, just to not take a week off of work for it.
Right.
But I took off work for TNR and then got hit with the news that this play was going on. So it's a pretty big thing for her, so I'm going to be there, you know?
Of course. Your daughter, you know, as much as we love RC, our family must come first.
Even if it's a kick in the nuts sometimes.
Yes, I know. But I think I know Chris gives away a lot of stuff at this race. I'm pretty sure he's doing the same thing. He was talking about maybe bringing me out there, but I don't think I can swing it because I have to be back home for like the 24th, so it's gonna be tight. But I am coming. I would like to get to this race. If we can make it happen, I will try and come this year, but I don't think just my schedule isn't gonna allow it. but he's doing a lot of good things, man. And still pumping out good fuel and still busy and racing a lot. Like, I can't believe how much he races and then does everything else on the side. So it's good to see. It seems like everything in California is kind of just gelling pretty good with everybody. It seems like it. I mean, I don't know what it is, how it is otherwise, but it's like people are racing. The level of competition's good. The businesses that I see coming out of SoCal seem to be doing well as well. It's like, I think people just don't understand how big the scene is. It's always been like, if you go back, like SoCal was the base for everything in RC. All these legends that we talk about and whatnot all got their base there in Southern Cal. So it's really cool.
It's definitely alive and healthy, but I mean, you can't count out all these other states that are doing rad stuff. I mean, since we've branched, out of California, and we've kind of seeded our way, across the country and everything, I'm seeing all these. I mean, there's hundreds of tracks that are going on all the time that have a badass scene. You got Thornhill, you got just to say one, Thornhill. They've got a crazy scene there. I mean, there's badass scenes everywhere. Since I linked up with Kyle Neary, and all the Wolf Den guys, there's a big scene in Georgia and the surrounding areas around there. Pacific Northwest has stuff going on. I mean,
have you made it up to PMW yet?
No, I haven't.
You need to.
I went up there mountain biking. I don't know. I'd love to do Cheyenne.
Yeah, you guys did that, but I would like to see you get right up to like NCT, or I think it's on a different name, but one of the big indoor races that they do, because they have a very great vibe up there as well.
For sure.
So, but you're correct. I mean, there's different pockets. It's like, I think you could just divide the states up in this. You got California, then you got Pacific Northwest, and probably the rest of the West Coast. You got Midwest, and when I say West Coast, I'm including Las Vegas and those areas. You got the Midwest, which is booming, and then it breaks down to, then Texas is something on its own because it's so big, and they have 3 covered tracks. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just telling my boy, like, how fortunate you are to have 3 cover tracks. He says, you like driving? I said, you got to drive far everywhere in Texas. It doesn't make a difference.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's going on everywhere. And more in the Midwest, you find a lot more different types of racing that are awesome. You got the oval stuff going on. And I would love if there was an oval track around here. I would love there to be an oval track just so I could buy an oval car because they look so freaking cool.
But the sprint cars, right?
Yeah, dude.
They look badass.
Sick. When I went over to Brent's house, he had a couple of them, and I'm playing with it, and I'm like, this is so freaking cool. It almost wants me to buy a roller and paint a body just to sit on my shelf because it looks so sweet.
I like that they look scale, the sprint cars. Yeah. They look really cool. Big oval race going on this weekend. Well, as we're recording this, it's the Chili Bowl, RC Chili Bowl this weekend.
Going on. I'm gonna watch some of that for sure.
Yeah. All right. So we did mention DNC. You're not doing DNC this year. Does that mean you're just going to come by to hang out? You're not racing it, right?
I'm not going to be racing it this year, but I will definitely be out there probably Friday night, Saturday night. Because obviously the best party of the year is the RaceCraft Rager.
Yes, which I will not be a part of because I need to be functionable the next day. That's my excuse.
You just got to get weathered, man. You got to get warmed up for it to be ready for that.
You guys, I cannot hang with you guys. You guys. I don't know how you wake up in the morning sometimes.
And race.
Yes, and race. I wouldn't even wake up.
And do halfway decent. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, I think this is the one race that I think I'm going to make an effort to come to every year because I just think I like it. I think this year is going to be even bigger because now with COVID restrictions pretty much gone, we're going to have a lot more people traveling internationally. I mean, it was a big presence last year. But this year, it's like, I think we're going to see a lot more people there. The competition's always great. I can't wait. I'm not coming out there for the long period. I'm coming out there from like the Tuesday to the Monday. And I'm getting excited for the first big race. I shouldn't call it the first big race because we have SIC next as the weekend. This weekend coming.
This will be after SIC.
Yeah, after we can't talk about SIC because it hasn't happened yet. So we don't know who's won this one. Right. But when this comes out, SIC would have happened. But we got a lot of racing going on. We got a lot of 10 scale coming up with the 10 scale world. So a lot of these 8 scale guys can be doing that. But I'm really looking forward to DNC. I think it's going to be huge this year. I can't wait.
DNC is going to be massive, and It's going to be great. And it's at our home, it's at our home track. That's where we have, our headquarters pretty much. We've got the RaceCraft room there for the team, and anybody coming in or going out just in that room, they have free use to it. And, even if you're not on RaceCraft, a lot of the other teams will hit me up. Maybe Daniel Lewis from Tekno last year, he hit me up. He's like, hey, can we use the room? And then all of a sudden our room is completely full of Tekno when they came and warmed up for DNC. And It's awesome. It's an awesome thing that we put out for as a perk for the drivers. And it's nice to have all your crap in there, and you just kind of show up and with your car and your radio, and you're all set up and ready to rock. And it's a good hub for us, man. Gives us all a little clubhouse to hang out in. There's multiple companies that are down the road that have their own rooms as well. And it just works out for everybody and makes it a good time to socialize and race for sure. And right there is where the RaceCraft Sprager happens, DNC. And I can't wait for that. It's going to be awesome. I think we're going to go pretty big this year.
Oh, wow. And it's also nice to get out of the cold, too, because you guys are tucked off around the corner there. Go even bigger. Oh, my gosh. Definitely not coming to that. Definitely going to avoid you guys. I can't hang with you guys.
You were there. I have pictures of you there last year, so I know you.
I didn't make it to the Rager. I think I passed by, but I don't think I stayed late.
You didn't stay. You gave me a high five and Bill.
Yeah, I was like, I think also because we was, our hotel, our room was 45 minutes away. So that isn't going to happen this year. I got a closer room. I'm really looking forward to it. I really like this race. I tell anybody, if you want to come to one, it's the closest thing we have to a Worlds with the amount of competition that we have.
Yeah.
So it's going to be great to see.
Yeah. And going over to AMS, I really liked that format. That format was sweet. It gave so much track time to everybody, and it was fun to go run on a different alien surface that I normally run on. And I had a blast out there, dude.
Yeah. Will you be traveling to any more races this year, you think?
We'll see.
Yeah, it's still early.
I never really have a plan, dude. So.
Hey, best plan of TAC. No plan whatsoever.
Right.
Just go with the flow. Expect
nothing, and you'll have everything.
Yeah, there you go. Let's talk about your Volkswagen, man. That's pretty cool. Tell us, because I watch your pictures. I see you're very passionate about that. How did that come about?
The Volkswagen happened. My dad bought it when I was 8 years old.
Really?
Yeah. So it's been in the family since I was 8 years old. We bought it, and it was a pile of shit. And we both restored it throughout the years. And it was supposed to be my first car, but I think my dad knew I was a little too rowdy at that age to have that car. So it kind of hung out in the garage. We took it to car shows together and stuff like that. And then finally at the ripe age of either 36 or 37, he felt like I was mature enough to be the caretaker of it. So he handed it over to me. And then, that's going to go to my son when he's 50.
So tell me about it. What year is it? What make is it?
It's a 1973 Volkswagen Thing.
Thing. That's what it's called. Thing. Yeah. So what makes, it's completely different. Is it like a convertible, I want to say?
It's a convertible. The front windshield folds down. The doors come off. It was actually a war vehicle.
Really?
Back in Germany. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I had no idea.
They only imported them into the United States for 2 years, but they made them in Mexico for a long time. But so they're a little bit more rare breed on the Volkswagen scene. So they're cool to have. I love it. Obviously it's been in my life damn near my whole life. So, I've always been a fan of it.
Is it like fully restored, like runs great and all that good stuff?
Yeah. Ground up, every nut and bolt. We did all the body work, all the paint work, dropped the engine in it, all that stuff in my dad's garage.
Wow.
Everything that's been done to that has been done in my dad's garage besides, getting the motor tuned and getting the motor built. We had that done, because that really matters to be done professionally. But as far as everything, drivetrain, shocks, everything that's been done was done in our garage.
And you park it like differently in your garage too.
Just once. I wanted to make a video in the garage, and it was raining, and that thing doesn't see the rain. So it could see the rain. But
so that's why you parked it like that. Gotcha.
I didn't want to wipe it down. I don't have a cover for it or anything like that. So
that's cool.
That's why I parked it like that. That was just one special thing. But that's the only thing that parks in the garage. There's nothing else that goes in there but that.
Interesting. I like it. I think it's pretty cool. I didn't know that the doors and all that stuff came off.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, dude. You put the front window down. It sounds cool, but it sucks.
I mean, you want a windscreen.
Yeah.
I mean, you do. I mean, I've seen trucks and cars without windscreens down there. I just don't know how these people drive them. Bugs just be hitting them and all that stuff.
Like riding a big motorcycle go-kart.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I wouldn't want to do that. Maybe I don't even know if I want to do the doors off on the highway. That's kind of sketch. Cool. So you've made some changes in your program this year. You're running Ultimate Engines. Well, you made it late 2022. I see you got the hot race up there in the corner. Great product placement, by the way.
Hey, thank you. That was completely unintentional. I swear.
So that's really good there. Ultimate's been growing a lot. I think a lot of you guys in the crew are racing Ultimates now. It's good to see. And I mean, your results, I mean, you want good results, but yeah, I think you're a great ambassador for these brands. You know what I mean? And that's why your social media is great. You're good. You're active. You're a good person. You're coming to these races and you're fun to be around and all this type of stuff. So it's good to see you getting, representing some companies that like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know wholeheartedly that any sponsorship that I have is not results driven. So I'm perfectly fine with that. I like to pick companies that I like and, I try my best to do them a proper service of promoting them, Yeah,
well, dude, you're so active on social media. I can't keep up. I'm like, oh shit, there's another post. I thought I was busy sometimes. You guys keep going at it, but I mean, that's what it takes. You got to be constant.
Man. I try to stay on it. It's a full-time job on the front end and on the back end,
It is. People don't realize to consistently post and create great content that's exciting, number one, and catches people's eye. Not everything's going to be a banger, but it still takes a lot of work and effort to do that.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is, the stuff that you take the most time and try and do perfect and awesome doesn't get the best response, and then something you just whip out, it blows up. So
I know
it's I don't get it, but it's
cool. So frustrating sometimes.
I like doing it. It's something I like to do, or else I wouldn't do it. So I love editing. I love RC cars. I just love being at the track.
Okay. What are your plans for this year with RC, with your editing, with anything like that? Any special projects that you might have, or any things you want to cross off your list this year that you're thinking of doing?
Not at the moment, dude. I think we're just going to keep doing what we're doing and just growing as much as possible and keeping the brand going, keeping it alive, and keeping it spicy. So, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Sweet, man. Skateboarding. Now, have you done it recently? I saw some videos of you. Was this recent video?
Of when?
You skating at a skate park.
I mean, it's possible. I take the kids, I try to take them once a week, depending on what racing's going on. It's normally like our Sunday afternoon kind of thing that we do. They just opened up a new bike park type thing by our house. So the kids have been going and doing that. Hunter took a gnarly slam, so he kind of took a couple of weeks off. He's kind of got he's a little timid. He was sending it a little bit above his abilities, but I mean, good for him. That stuff happens,
Yeah. That's skateboarding, man. You're not attached to it.
Right. Well, he was on a bike, actually.
Oh, he took a slam on a bike.
Yeah. But I try and take him out as much as possible. I'm actually due for a new board, and that'll get me pumped to go skate some more. So once I go and get myself a new setup, my stuff's pretty clapped out right now. So once I get myself a new setup, I'll be getting jazzed to go skate, and I'll be definitely going out there a little bit more.
What type of setup are you looking to get? Anything in particular?
Just everything new. It's all pretty. I mean, my boards always are on my van, so that's not the best spot to keep your stuff. They get soft. Your board gets soft. In the car, moisture and whatever, however it happens, it's bad for them. But I always like to have a board in the car because you never know when the mood will strike. So I always have a cruiser board because the bathroom at DNC is like a mile from our room. So sometimes you got to get there a little quicker than others. So I'll hop on my board. And
I did use you guys' personal bathroom, which was TJ's tire of his van last year.
Yeah, that's usually my tire as well when TJ's not there.
Oh, man, I pissed a few times on that tire.
Well, for the number ones, it's no problem to just, put a little traction compound on your tires. But, when the logs are coming, I don't think TJ would be stoked if you lit a steamer on his tire.
No, I don't think he'd be too happy about that. Oh, man, but he definitely got some pee on there. That's for sure. Mm-hmm. Man, it was like a river coming from there. I was like, that's all that.
Yeah, it was almost kind of gross with the amount of pee that was going down out of that.
Well, the amount of beer that you guys are drinking, it's to be expected. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to DNC. I'm really enjoying you guys continued skate style advertising. I'm really shocked nobody else has really caught on to it or even done some different type of style, and everything still seems to be the same kind of things, but you guys are still the ones that kind of stick out.
That's fine with me. It's kind of like a signature of our brand that we're using, raw cuts with fast, awesome music and try and bring a little different flavor to it.
Keep it up. I mean, you've calmed down for a bit because you was really wild in the first year or so. I know some videos you had to edit because you went too crazy. Well, you haven't made any more like them.
I think I just ran out of costumes to wear.
Too. You haven't done a costume one in a long time.
I went through my whole wardrobe, dude. So now I just kind of focus on the team, and I'll do a couple things here and there, but nothing too. I got to get back to that, man. That was fun.
Yeah, it was. It was very fun. Maybe you need some new costumes. Got to hit up the thrift shop.
I got to go hit the thrift shop.
Cool. Well, hey, man, it was great talking to you. You want to say thank you to anybody before we go in, or shout out to anybody before we close this up?
I'd like to thank everybody that supports RaceCraft. We're the Racers brand, the normal dude brand, just out here trying to do our thing. And, that's it. Just thank you to everybody that supported RaceCraft the past 2 going on 3 years. We appreciate it more than you could ever imagine. We never expected the brand to get where it's at. And, it's insane. I still can't believe it. We do everything, everything's done right here in this room as far as any product shots or anything like that. Our warehouse is my garage. Everything gets ordered and shipped out of the garage, and that's how we're going to keep it until maybe it grows bigger than that. If it doesn't, that's fine. As long as we're just still doing our thing.
Still enjoying it too.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. You could check out RaceCraft's IG. Check out their Facebook. Where can people order stuff from? Give them a website.
RaceCraft-USA.com.
That's right. RaceCraft-USA.com. Hit them up. Get yourself some RaceCraft swag. I really like their hats, by the way. So, quick story. The hat that you gave me, I took it to my buddy. I was like, you see this hat? This is the best fitting snapback I've ever had. Can you get these? And he got me a few. So it definitely fits. It didn't shrink. It fits my head perfectly. It traveled with me quite a lot last year, too. So it went on a lot of travels with me. So it was really cool.
Man. And thanks to everybody that supports the racing program that I have, keeping me styling on the track. And man, thank you for being stoked on us enough to bring us on the podcast.
Thank you for all your support, man. And thank you. I haven't had a beer and done a podcast in quite some time.
Hey, well, we kind of bring that out in people,
I know. I was like, I can't do a podcast with so anyway, he shows me, I'm ready to do a podcast. He shows me his table with like a 12-pack of Coors Light there. I'm not going to be talking that long. But all right, man. Hey, I look forward to seeing you at DNC. And keep doing what you're doing. I'm sorry you can't make it to TNR race, but your daughter's play is just as important. Maybe It doesn't feel like it right now, but it will in the end.
Yeah, for sure. I'm still going to swing by on Saturday, and then we'll see if we're feeling froggy enough to go drive out there in the evening and watch the mains if they're still going on. So
sweet, man.
That's a race that anybody and everybody should go to. Yeah, for sure.
Hopefully I'll be there either this year or next year. And I want to thank you and all your support of myself and the podcast and being a friend to me. And I look forward to seeing you at DNC, man.
Yeah, I hope I see you sooner, dude. That'd be cool.
Maybe. But highly unlikely. DNC ain't too far away, though. It's only 5 weeks away.
Next month.
Yeah, it's coming up fast. It's coming up fast. We got some
preparing to do. I got to get a hold of some flamingo renters or something. We're gonna do something wild.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. I'll look, say hello, and then jet out of there. That's my plan.
I'm gonna tie you to my van.
Oh, I can't do it no more. I can't do it no more. All right, man. Hey, keep up the good work. Thank you for bringing in the freshness. I like it. Every time I see something, I'm just like, I like that.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
cool.
we're not trying to do anything different or anything like that. It's just our style, man.
Yeah.
You know?
I like it. Skateboard style. Hey, man, you have a good evening. And thank you for your time, man. I appreciate it.
All right. Much love to you and everybody that listens to this podcast. We'll see you out there.
Cool, man. Talk to you later.
Bye.
So thank you to Chase for all his time. It was a great chat as usual. Can't wait to see you at the DNC. Now we have the House of RC 2.0 tutorial with Conny Svensson. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is brought to you by Invisible Speed. Remember, everybody, links to get the Invisible Speed online course will be in the written description of this podcast. Make your speed visible with the Invisible Speed online course and book. ICB RC got a bunch of them. They're probably going to sell out really fast. So for those of you listening on audio, this is the Invisible Speed ad. Well, what's going on, everybody? We have my good friend from Sweetener, the man behind House of RC. He's been on there previously, but it's been some time. We just had the new House of RC 2.0 release. He's been busy coding for the last, for a long time. Hello, Conny. How you doing? Congratulations also on your appointment in EFRA with the large scale. I think you're the large scale president for off-road, I believe, or something like that.
That is right. President. Yeah, they split up the on-road and off-road sections to two separate sections, and now I'm the chairman for the off-road section. Okay. And yeah, I've been coding for a while on this release. So I'm really happy, both that it went really well and it's been really well received with a lot of good feedback. So I'm happy.
Okay. So for those of you who don't know what House of RC, we mention it every time on the podcast. It is an online RC community. It's not just for racing. It's for everything RC, but it's also, it was used in the RCGP pay-per-view. It had a plethora of different things. You can have race signups on there. You can have, Connie's been so nice and set up the NNRC one, and everything that comes from my Facebook feed and my YouTube feed goes to that as well. It's actually pretty cool because I've been using the latest version of it on my phone because the app is much more friendly. But yeah, tell us a little bit for those that may be stumbling onto House of RC for the first time. Tell those who are about it, what it is, why you started it, and how it can be beneficial for them.
Yeah, great. I mean, I think you summarized it fairly well, but I can add some stuff. I mean, it started with me seeing a need in my own racing. I'm doing some club racing, having kind of high score lists. And then it was like, okay, we want to separate if you run electric or nitro. And then we wanted to separate the high score list if it was a club member or an outside member. And all of a sudden, I mean, I'm a developer in the ground. I actually don't do that much development in my work anymore. So this was also kind of for itching scratching my itch that I had to, I wanted to get back into programming. I saw a need for building a simple system to keep track of it. And then it just grow and grow. And after a while, I was like, I can build something that really organizes, people, organizations, club, manufacturers, different tracks, events of all type of sorts, resources, and then, of course, the products. So those were kind of the base items that I saw, and then kind of combined them in different things. And you could see that I've kind of merged a lot of different aspects from many different platforms. So like forum functionality, like Facebook functionality, or more traditional kind of structured content management systems. And it's kind of a mix of everything. So people ask me, can you, the interface, there's so much to it, right? And I do agree, it's like a Swiss Army knife. You can just pull up another tool and you can do this and that. And you can even have like your own RC journal to track how much time you spend on racing, wrenching, checking in all different tracks you've been to, and kind of have it on a map. There are so many different things. So with 2.0, we really wanted to clean it up, make it more usable. So we focused on usability, on customizability, because we know that everyone loves different things. Some people are completely racers. They just want to see race results, race reports, events. The bashers, they want to see product news. Others, they just want to share cool stuff on there, like a Facebook wall. And you have everything in between there. You have the beginners that want to know what are the tracks where I live, where are the different clubs or people in my surrounding, what are the different cars that they are running, because it's easy to start with what others have in your area, so you can get help from them or parts and things like that. But as you said, it's also not just for cars. It's easy to forget because the main users in the platform are kind of into cars, but we also have airplanes, drones, boats. That's why it's called House of RC. So you kind of put up your profile saying what you're interested in, and then the site kind of filters and shows the information based on your profile. So that's kind of the main part of it. It's another thing that is very important to stretch. It's that it's completely user driven. So you are the ones adding the events, the products, the clubs, the organizations in here. And so it's a community driven platform. Everything that we build, all the functionality in the platform comes from people telling me that what they need. So we try to do it for the community, for the people, but also for the industry, for the different manufacturers, for the different organizers. So everybody has something in the platform.
Great. Speaking, have the basher side of it started getting into it a little bit more now? Because that's
no. I think there are some bashers, definitely. I mean, when you register, you can say what type of user you are. Like if you're a professional, if you're a racer, basher, fanatic, hobbyist, or just a mechanic, or if you're into building models, so like crawlers and build realistic models. And the start page, which we now call the workbench, actually changes depending on what type you are. So we're putting different panels and things on there. The basher community, there are so many different communities that we would like to reach out to that haven't maybe, that maybe doesn't think that House of RC is for them, because there is so much racer content on here, like with events and results and stuff like that. But they can build their own kind of forum pages, build threads, project pages. So I hope that bashers and modelers and other type of RC people find their way here. And we're going to try to reach out to those forums and those different Facebook pages as well. So we don't think it's going to replace Facebook. Of course not. That would be ridiculous. But what we do add here is, first of all, it's built for RC from the ground up. Facebook is just a generic platform. It's not run by a big multi-billion-dollar company that wants to just serve you what is in their gain. We don't have any ads or anything like that. And we have a structure to the information. So you can find the tracks, the results, your race reports easily because it's mapped in a logic way. On Facebook, it kind of disappears after a while, and then it's really hard to find old stuff, and it's just all this kind of scrolling. But here you have like a more structure to it. So I think this is something that can live over time. You build your own RC profile on there and could use it as an RC resume to get like sponsorship. I know drivers that have done that actually. They have kind of their race history on there and make it look professional and good.
Yeah, to send them that link.
What?
Pretty much. Just send them the link to your House of RC.
And we made that a lot of better in 2.0 as well, to share links. Mm-hmm. We're going to introduce a feature that was prototyped at RCGP. In the last RCGP, you could see there were QR codes that you can scan. Mm-hmm. So anything on House of RC will be able to be turned into QR code. So you can exchange QR codes with each other, or you can have quick resources like driver sheet or things like that at an event, or you can just have it for your club and have that QR code on your banners around the track. Mm-hmm. All over the place. You can use that as a way to kind of connect digitally with the physical world.
Cool, that's cool. So you can just give somebody like, hey, take a scan of my QR code, and here's my House of RC profile.
Exactly, and there you have everything there. I know there were some people that actually lost all the race reports. I don't remember who it was. I think it was Bella Racing. She and then I said, if you have it on House of RC instead, you can link back to Facebook. So you have all your comments and everything on Facebook, but you can always go back and find it on House of RC. So it becomes your kind of cloud backup of your RC resume as well, because you never know what happens with Facebook. Things, disappears, and I've heard many stories of that.
You get hacked and then you lose everything. I know.
We know what...
We know all about that. All right. So tell me some of your favorite features that you think will impress people about the new 2.0 version.
Yeah. And maybe we could bring it up and I can click around a little bit to show that. Perfect. So this is the first kind of, as I call the workbench here. And you can, just as a real workbench, select what tools you want to have here. So we have quick navigation up here at the top to all the different panels that I've chosen to have here. But if I don't like what's here, I can click Customize here, and I can pick my own background. I can click exactly what different things I want in what order, the RC wall there, events, results, and in what order I can, if I'm not interested in people in my area, I can just, bring it out here and kind of disable it. What type of template I could have, what type of theme, if I want to have a darker theme. This is kind of a light theme. I could have a darker theme, do completely dark and be cool. I save this, and it becomes like this instead. And now you see the whole kind of navigation changes. The logo is now reversed. So it's nice, and people are already kind of posting on the internet, how they configure their workbench and what it's for them. So I really like that. Also, to encourage more sharing of things, it's now easy to just click this kind of share something. You can write something. It's just like Facebook, a post. You can add image links. Then you can go get more advanced. I want to write a race report or share a setup sheet or do a project or build thing. Another thing that is new is this list resource. So you can do like a bucket list. Here's my favorite races that I want to go to, or here are my top, 5 tracks and then other can share that and kind of have that as a checklist and say, I've been to these. There are so many usages of the list. The list can even be used as a navigational component because it's not just the workbench that you can customize. You can also customize your own page to really stand out. You can have your own color scheme, your own background, and your own layout of that page. And just before we leave kind of the workbench, I want to highlight some other things. It's much more everything is a little bit bigger. So it's more airy layouts, more easily readable, big kind of date platters here. So you can see the events much better. If we scroll down here, you can see all the latest results from TNR. We have SIC, Clash of Champions. You can see all the classes. So instead of kind of going and trying to find it in all the other places, this is kind of trying to gather all the results from all the other platforms. And we will introduce a lot more automatic imports here. We have race event reports from the different things. We have Mikael here. We have Mayfield. And a lot of these comes from Facebook. So it's kind of aggregating information from all over the place. And here we're also aggregating the news feeds from Circus RC, Red RC, Live RC, RC Car Action. So you can have all the news in one place. And if you're just into news, you can create a homepage with just one big news column, and that's all you get. So this is completely customizable. So that is the workbench. So this people really love, and now people can stop saying, I want this and I don't want that. Do whatever you want with the workbench. And while we're at the workbench, I also want to just show the mobile experience, because we've seen that 60 to 70% of all our users uses House of RC on their phone. And it's a lot of information. It's best to use it on the desktop. It's no denial that you can ever get as good on the mobile as you can on when you have a little bit more space. But I think the mobile experience is really good now as well. We have a static navigation bar here at the top that we can reach the navigation all the time. I can reach my area of my profile, everything here, my results, my races, my collection of stuff. I can also get to the search feature here. Something that is new is the shortcut menu here. And this is, I can add resources or favorites. So I haven't added any favorites here, but the favorites is something that I want to reach quickly to a product or a club or a track, or my favorite tracks. And when you add favorites, that is also, you will have those highlighted in your on the workbench. And also if you add like a club or an organizer as a favorite, and they add an event, you will automatically get an email when they add events. So you will always be on top of what is happening in the organizers and when people are adding events and things like that. So it's good to have favorites, or you can also network with organizations and people. And here you can also see what is has been updated lately. So always be on top of things. So this menu here is always with you on the mobile. When you scroll down, it kind of disappears, just like Facebook. You scroll up again and it appears. And then we have this kind of sharing or creation, quick creation button down here. So this is the mobile interface. I want to show something that I'm calling it the Keenan feature.
You did tell me. I don't know what this is.
So you don't know what it is. So this is for you as well. If we're going to Mikael here, what and let's see if you can find out what the Keenan feature here is. So check out his profile here. Nice picture, and then he has his name, and underneath here, this is the Keenan feature.
Yes,
the nickname. So and this was one of like a stupid idea, but like you always have all these great nicknames on people. So I was like, okay, people are going to be able to add their nicknames. So we have the Punisher here, of course.
I'm glad he accepted his nickname.
What?
I'm glad he accepted his nickname.
He accepted his nickname. So this is his profile. I
didn't see this. So you have links to their Facebook, their YouTube, their Instagram.
Oh, yeah, exactly. You can see Mikael's all, and that's you mentioned in the beginning. This is also a place where you can bring all your digital content into one place. You have his YouTube channel here, all the latest results here. This was yesterday. He won the last round of ETS Yeah, he has his race reports here from Don, actually. His RC collection with his Schumacher cars. We have other
his profile is dialed.
Yeah, but let's look at something that is pretty dialed. So we have our other friend here, David, right? So yes. The Viking. Here you can see this is another. This profile has been also customized. He has his background with his DR logo here. He has the Mayako yellow color scheme on the whole profile. The first kind of module here is also full width, as you can see. So you really have place to show your cover graphics. And Davis is an insider, so everybody that is subscribing to House of RC is now called an insider. And with insider, you get a lot of cool features like this thing to customize your homepage. You can customize the start page, the workbench. Everyone can do that. That's for free. But if you want to customize your own profile page for others to see, you have to be an insider. And then you can see his results and races and events and things like this. So his next race is DNC coming up here. And you can go in and check that. His setups for his different cars, his RC collection, and his Corsa Tech and Osomatics, Mayako, of course. It's all here. David's racing and his web shop, everything is here. So you can build your whole kind of RC empire around House of RC. So David has his racing arena here, of course, as well. You can see his racing arena with his off-road and on-road track. And this also has his own profile page and customized here. You can see they uses the green that matches the kind of DR green color here. All opening hours for the track. And also here bringing in the YouTube videos here. And all the events. So this is really...
can you adjust the layout of your... I might have missed it, but can you adjust the layout of where you want your YouTube stuff and all that type of on there as well?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So let's go back to David. So this is his page. Of course, I can't edit his page if I was using my other account, which is more... you would have a little... I can, of course... So John Meyer is kind of my test account for House of RC. So if you see that in the screenshots and all that, that's kind of just a completely bogus account, but it's just to use as a showcase account. You can see there's a design button here. So the same way as I designed my workbench, I can click here, select what background I want to use here. This kind of black sand beach kind of thing, the red color shown here. The theme, the template, 2-column or 1-column, wide cover, as I said before. And here you can pick the order and exactly what modules I want to show on my page. You can completely customize it so it looks, the way you want and what you want to, of course, show off to everyone else. So that is really cool. And that goes.
You can even put a picture there too, can you? Because I'm looking at mine. Yeah, and in my background, it's a picture of my profile picture. You get what I'm saying? When you look between the columns, that's pretty cool.
So you can play around, and I see a lot of people are kind of testing what type of backgrounds work and all that. And now when I'm in my account here, I can see, of course, that this account is an insider program here, so you can manage that. You can sign up for a month. You can just keep it going and all that. What I want to show is, so these are kind of personal accounts, but just like Ronnie Falk has his company there, this is my Team Pixies races in my racing team, which I do for large-scale racing. So I've also kind of designed my page. I'm using this bluish color that I have in my logo. I have all my race reports here. And here on the right-hand side, you can see this list component as mentioned earlier. So I can kind of create a table of content thing or something similar to be able to, in this case, create a build thread of my car. So here we can do kind of full project builds, and so this is great for modelers or if somebody wants to do a really full-on build thread and show off images and write all about it. So it's really a complete content management system as well. So now we have a lot of clubs, even organizations that uses House of RC as their homepage, as their website. Instead of having a separate website, they point their domain into their House of RC page and use all these kind of customization features to host their website. I'm going to, as an example, do the this event that is going on in Denmark, which is completely sold out. Great. We have the Killich brothers, we have Rannefalk, and they're showing up here. So with them, they are also insiders. I know that they're kind of building a customer look as well. It's in the works. But they use the payment features for sign up. So it's completely integrated with the sign up experience. You use PayPal or your debit or credit card, and you have a complete process. You as an organizer, you get emails when people have paid. And in the latest version 2.0, we also use push notifications in the apps. So the apps are also released in new versions. So when somebody comments on your stuff, you get a push notification. If an event is canceled or somebody cancels their sign up, you get a push notification. So you're always on top of things in RC. And this is not just, in general, it could be during an event as well. So you want to reach out to people in a specific heat, or something changes, you can use the push notification features to reach out to all the entrants. So that's also a great feature. And here,
this is what RCGP used, right?
This is what RCGP used, exactly. So they had, we can go to RCGP, of course. We had the series page. It's also great to creating series and cups. So this is kind of the main page. Here you have like the driver point standing, the team point standings. It is automatically calculated by House of RC as well. And then you have each individual event. And if we go here, and we can just take the result page, because this is also a very neat thing I want to share, is if you're an insider as an organization, you get these kind of podium graphics. And I think some of you have seen them on the internet and the web. You click on this and you get these kind of really nice looking result graphics, and pulls in all the different, logos from the different brands. If people sign up, RCGP, for example, had that as mandatory. Some people complained about it. But then it becomes this really nice.
It looks so much better.
It does, and it's, you don't need Photoshop or anything like this. It even puts your custom web or background in the back here, so it looks really yours, right?
How about these sponsors underneath their names? Is that something that you do, or how? Like on the Rannefalk, it had his different sponsors on there. Yeah, Mayako, all these guys.
No, so this is all when they signed up. They put these.
No, this I'm talking about right here. Okay, so that just because they finished top 3, that just transfers.
Exactly. So this is the top 3 here. So they get kind of a special, and then you have 4, 5, 6 underneath here. So that's really great, and you can actually click on all that and go to the different brands. So this is perfect also for the manufacturer to show off. But then also after an event, we get this kind of statistics about the event and see, how many, associated Mayakos, S-Works, and all this were here in the different classes. So that is also nice for you as an organizer, but also, of course, as a manufacturer to be able to kind of, see what's popular at the different events. And we could, go in and see exactly what the different tire brands, engines and all that.
How about RC2? Let's look at RC2. Did they fill out the information as well?
Yeah, they did. Let's have a look at that. There. And we can do just model brand here.
Yeah.
So associated, and
that's
HB
cool.
Racing, Tekno, yeah. So
that would be worth it just to have these races to use this now, so we can get this at this and this is just we can get way more analytical.
Analytics. Yeah, exactly. And just to show that, there is a whole page. There's a little special thing in the navigation called the pits. This is where I kind of put the pages that doesn't really belong anywhere. So we have statistics, so we can really dive into each kind of dimension and see a lot of different stuff. We have the silly season, which is kind of just a fun thing to be able to see how people move between different brands, who joined, who left. And I think we have 74 different moves this season. So that's also cool because, and once you have all this data, there's so much more interesting stuff you can start doing. Of course, so
when I'm looking for topics and stuff I know this is still young, but for future people, this would be great because searching for information about past RC. Now Neo Buggy's gone, so a lot of that stuff's gone. But not gone, it's still around. But this should save all of that stuff from her on out.
Yeah, and that's something I can kind of sneak announce here is that the next phase of House of RC is going to kind of build a separate integration platform for all the different results, all the major ones, to have it in one place. Have an open API. What that means is that anyone can build on top of that. So we have one place where you can find everything and people can build their own websites or apps on top of that. So if we can gather that as a community, as an industry in one place, then we can do so much stuff. And it never, as you said, new buggy closes or whatever, we have it in one place, and then we can kind of cross-reference between different organizers, different timekeeping systems in one place. I want to highlight one more thing, and I this is something that is used a lot for beginners now. So if there's somebody new in the hobby, ask them to sign up to House of RC, or you don't need to sign up. You can use it without an account. But when you sign up, we know where you're located. And then this page gets so much better because it shows, RC around where you live. So I can find the different clubs here, or this is a track. This is a club in. So this is actually pulling my GPS coordinates from Sweden, where I'm right now, and it kind of can show everything around me here, places in my area, clubs to hang out. So this was not.
Can you do a search for different things? So say I'm going to California.
Yeah,
can I
sure.
Put in California and or that?
Yeah. So what do you want to? Do you want to see like a track in California, right?
Or like tracks around me in Los Angeles. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, sure. So first of all, so this is a good thing. So show filters. Here's where you can get kind of, okay, I want to find stuff in United. Okay, I can't spell now. United States. So all of a sudden, everything is now filtered on that. And then I'm interested in off-road. First of all, I'm interested in car stuff. So here you can see we're doing all kind of RC here. We can find lakes to use your boats and all stuff like that. But let's keep with cars here. And then I can say I want to do off-road. So now I get all the off-road tracks. But maybe I just want to see everything that are kind of for electric. 10 scale. I know you're into nitro and all that.
No, I like 10 scale.
Yeah, exactly. That's your newfound love, right?
I'm enjoying it.
And we can do everything like this. Let's say that you're actually in wheelchair. You can see, who has wheelchair access to their tracks, who has, running water and electricity and all those kind of things. You can even, I want to find, do we have Astro tracks? So this is it. I can clear here and instead say, okay, let's go for California. And okay, I misspelled that. California. There you go. Okay. And here are all the tracks in California. And I want to see, where are they? Okay. I want to see them on a map. And now it actually showed where I am right now. So that was a bad. It always kind of starts where you're sitting right now. So that's a product improvement I can see right there.
Cool. But look, we figured that out live. Well, live.
Exactly. Oh, that's how demos should always be like that. But so really, I mean, as you see, it's already the biggest database of tracks, organization, products, resources, and everything in one place. And you can do these kind of smart filters. But it's if there's something that is missing here, it's up to you to just add it. I kind of reached out to, there's an RC backyard track group on Facebook, which is really big for people building RC tracks in their backyard. And it's like, there is even a thing for putting backyard, look at that, backyard tracks here. So you can say, okay, I want to see all the backyard things. Okay, it was California. Let's remove that. Okay, so we have a couple of backyard tracks here that people have built in the backyard. I really want to get into these different kind of, RC communities. And I don't, maybe some of you that listens to this have an idea of how to reach out there, or maybe you are in these different groups. I would be really happy if you, share what could be possible with House of RC. It's not just for racers, it's bashers, it's modelers, it's boats, planes, anything RC related.
Yeah, excellent. And also, let's talk about real quick. There is a paid side of this. You get, I think it's $5 a month.
It's $5 a month.
Yes. And you get access to some other cool features you talked about, like your profile stuff you can do. But it also just helps. I mean, it's just $5 a month to help you keep things going. This isn't
exactly. So you can read more about the House of RC Insider program, exactly what you're getting, both as a user and as an organization. Now I can see another thing, that when you have dark here, it doesn't show that well, but so it's also, as a user, you can upload much more images, bigger files, a lot of different things. Inserting the Facebook page on your profile, and the same as the YouTube channel. That's also premium features, because we want to have something that is exclusive. But also with this kind of RC Insider, the Insider program, there will be content also exclusive for Insider viewers. So there we're also looking for kind of collaborations with media. And maybe that is something, we can work with as well. Do something together where we have, like an NRC kind of insider area here as well. I don't know. There's all kind of possibilities.
We shall see.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm going to play around with the app some more. I really like Runner Fox profile. Now I have to try and get one as good as his, I think. I've been using it on my phone recently. It's a lot easier to use on the phone now, a lot more user friendly from previously. So this is like something that's always going to constantly evolve. So it's you're always, one thing about you're always working behind the scenes to get this done. There's the doctor. He's at the snowbirds this weekend.
Yep.
Wish him all the luck. All right, Conny. So for those who don't know, check it out. You can get the app on Google Plus. the Google Play Store or the iTunes Store, I believe. Also, right. Like you said, if you really want to get really, really in depth, just go to houseofrc.com. Sign up. That's free. If you wish to become an insider or member, you can do that as well. And check it out because it's got a lot of information there. That's also too. It's a lot easier to get through the information now as well than it was previous. A lot more clearer, the newer version for me.
That was one of the big focus areas to really, make it clearer, easier to work with. So I'm happy that you feel that. It feels like we're actually reaching where we're trying to get.
It's never over, Conny. Conny,
No,
thank you for all your time. I appreciate your efforts. Good luck with the EFRA and your fifth large scale racing next year. This year. I keep thinking I'm in 2022. Thank you for your time and all that you do, man.
Thank you, Keenan, and thank you for having me on the pod. And as you know, I'm always listening to NNRC pod while I'm coding as well. So it's always there in the back of my mind.
You must be tired of seeing coding right now, but this is your passion. All right, my friend, take it easy and thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Thank you to Conny. Thank you to House of RC for all the support of the No Name RC podcast. Go there, fill out your profile. Let's help grow this and make this the best online community in RC. Max, you had a little rant to go on about, and you know what? I wanted to do something in transition to that rant because we're going to have the king of rants, the king of angry people. Real quick, we have a video clip from him where he is actually happy. So here we go.
One more is all you. Oh my God. That's left. My retirement present is so close. 5 seconds. Where's Coelho?
Oh, there isn't.
Nah, he made it through.
He won't. Oh, no one of them will now. Time.
What's David?
Finish now. He's done it.
Oh, yes!
Yeah.
Oh,
that's good.
well done.
Well done.
Congratulations.
Captain complains a lot. Was actually happy for a few seconds. He was happy. He was also happy in this one. All right, that idiot. All right, Max. So you had a little bit of a rant. Let's keep it short, and we're gonna conclude this. And let's not try to offend everybody this time.
Yeah, I don't think this is gonna offend anyone, but it's just I want to sort of voice out my frustrations.
Okay.
I think it's been at least, when was it? I think it's been probably 2 or 3 years now since we sort of started, recapping the American races, European races too. And like every time we go through hey, we want people to have fun at these races, have some structure, some organization. And people are always I want these races to be nice, I want money for what I pay for. And what has happened is people still go to these races, but the races haven't really changed. Races have stayed the same. Entry cost has actually gone up quite a bit too, but they haven't really provided anything more to the racing. Yes, coverage has gotten better, especially in America, but not really in Europe. And people still go to these races even though they say, "Oh, I don't like this type of race." So I'm kind of facing a point where I just don't think it's going to change, especially in America. I think there's still some hope in Europe to gain more structure, for becoming more of a help for clubs and organizations. But I just think, things got to play out how they play out, and we're going to see how it's going to go. There isn't any changing this, what we have.
You know what? I think I came to that same conclusion. And but there are positives to this. So the coverage is definitely upping itself in America. So we saw,
100%.
I also think there's viable single person media companies that are able to do things. 2 of them being Matt Olson, who's doing everything on the West Coast. He does an incredible job. Maybe has 2 people helping that sometime, but mostly it's by himself. And then we have in the Southeast and East Coast, we have Danny Paz of WRCE, who's super talented. He's very good at his editing. He's also a good photographer. So it's like a cross. So Matt can do the stream. He can do photography too, but he can talk. You know what I mean? So he can talk and he does the interviews and stuff. Danny's good at photography. He's good at the stream. He's good at editing and going out there getting B-roll, doing all that stuff. But he doesn't talk. So that's where he likes. That's why he likes working with me. So we have, in reality, there is a cheap way to get coverage. Now it won't be full bore, full on DNC live hours, that type of coverage, but you'll get coverage of the race. You'll know what's going on. And it's fairly cheap. Like races can afford it now. I'm not saying every race should have it, but I think what we're seeing, okay, so this goes Philippine Masters. We'll use that for an example. So I was talking to the Philippine Masters, some of the guys from there, and I said, hey, you know what? You should get Danny there. Danny and me there. We'll do the coverage, stuff like that. Unfortunately, it didn't work out because Danny actually is booked that weekend. But I think what they're like, this can be easily considered the biggest race in Asia, right? But if nobody can see it, it doesn't make it like I think now it's meant, if you want your race to be, if you want to attract the companies and manufacturers to send some of their big names here, the coverage is what's important. You need to have the coverage because that's what's going to attract. And coverage is important. It's making these races more prestigious because people around the world can see them. People around the world watch the TNR race, just like they're going to watch the snowbirds and just like they're going to watch EOS. Yeah. So I'm more worried about, I've kind of shifted my, all right, I know we've been hard on some of these races and some of them still deserve it. Like maybe me and Dave aren't the best on best terms. Still doesn't mean that I don't support and enjoy his races that he puts on. Danny did very good coverage at SIC. I heard that he's going to have live RC for PMB because that's his big race. And then he's going to have coverage at the other 2 races that he has this year. And I'm happy with that. Because it's not getting somebody to just go up there and man a camera and be like, that's coverage. It's like some thought and effort being put into it. So if these 2 guys plus live RC plus RC Racing TV, I think what Europe is lacking is that one man person that can do that. I don't know if there's guys, be some guys out there that can do that. So I think I think in Europe the biggest issue is just language barriers. There could be a guy like Info RC has done it in Spain. A Circus RC has done some of it in France, but there aren't these. RC is so small that there isn't enough people in every single area around the world. So you kind of need to have people more connected. And then in Europe, the language barrier is a big thing for a lot of it. But I think it just, the thing is it's so easy to do coverage these days. You just need to have a guy with a camera up there doing a Facebook Live. It's that. It's not the best. It's not, and the thing is you don't need to have you could just get a decent video camera tripod and then film it yourself. It's not like you have to get the amazing, few $1,000 camera. You could just get a basic camera that you can do video, connect it to your laptop and stream from there. Or even if like what J Concepts did, film with an iPhone, that's still better than nothing, Yeah, but we're seeing that improve. We're seeing improving that. But for instance, we shouldn't be asking. There should be Montpellier should see, but they probably don't because it's probably been we're doing this for 30-something years. But I want to watch Montpellier. I would love for that race to have full on coverage, in English too. I'm sorry, I don't need it in French. So, but they cater to the French market. So I would agree with you. I think. In that sense, things have changed, but I think the whole look, man, there's room for, I said it, there's room for both types of races. There's room for this cap races. I'm looking at the cap races that are happening in America, RCGP, AMS. I don't think the people want it. I think the people want what they have. To me, it's
interesting because when it's club level, like I think Lance McDonald in the Southeast region, he holds races that are pretty much like, you know, cap races.
Well, that's his series, and it's got coverage and it's got all that stuff.
Yeah, and it's doing well. Like everyone says, oh, that's so good races. I love to go to his races. And there's lots of in like the West Coast, like I think Northwest Coast, there's lots of like more organized series type things. And
I think Lance has got the best series in RC right now.
Yeah.
And there's no pro guys there. No top level guys there.
To me, that's the weird thing. Like on a local, regional level, there are lots of structured, well-organized events.
Mm-hmm.
But then all the big races are like no structure, no organization, you know, just like sell as many as you can. And like, it's weird. Like why is it this way? And like everyone in this hobby who's into this hobby likes those more structured events. But then the majority of people go to those events with no structure. So I do not understand why that happens, because
I'm over it. I don't care. People like it. That's all that matters. I like it because it's got all the top guys there. I'm excited for DNC. It's like last year when people said I think this all kind of changed my mind too. You know, after Dave and the guys kind of reamed me out on Facebook and the podcast, they said PMB is about as many entrants as they can get. Mm-hmm. When they said that to me, something in my brain clicked. I said, they never said as much runtime. So when they went PMB and they had so many entrants, 1,000 plus, and PMB is a 3-day race, you know, so it's hard to get all that in there. People were like, well, we lost the qualifier. I'm like, then you should blame yourself.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's funny because we say these things like, you know, there are issues that could be solved by doing this and this and this with a compromise between how much the race organizer can make money and how much of a fun time the racers have. You know, you get your money's worth. And people are like, yeah, I agree with you. But then they go to these races and complain. And then when we say, hey, we should do something differently, people don't change. They don't do it. You know, like it's so.
I'm over it. I'm over it.
I don't understand.
So listen, the man literally said it's about as many entrants as possible. You got to excite. See what it is. PMB is one of the races you can knock off work at 5 and still go and get some practice, and because it's 24-hour practice. Yeah. So you got excited and you went and you went there. So you are you are part of the problem why you don't have 3 qualifiers. So with that said, I did talk. I have heard that they're going to have a better practice schedule and they'll figure out things. And I guarantee you that PMB is going to be packed again this year, and it's going to be. I'm going to enjoy the racing and all that type of stuff. So I'm over that. I just kind of like, all right, that's not going to change anytime soon, in my opinion. That's just not going to change. It's not going to change. And these are the big staples of our industry. So it's just is what it is. Let's put our focus. Like, I'm just not, I'm over it. It's just like sportsman. Yeah. It's just like the sportsman sponsored thing. I'm done. There's 2 arguments.
There's 2 things that I have like wanted to be fixed and think that are easy to be fixed. So number 1 is coverage, and number 2 is getting structure for the pros, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So pro drivers cannot attend open practice at PMB. They have like set practice times. And after the practice, they do like interviews, filming, whatever. Then on qualifiers, you know, you have maybe a little bit different format for them. And then in the mains, you do like a proper introduction online and like.
No, I can get behind that.
Yeah,
I
because
like that.
The thing is like you effectively lose perhaps, you know, 30 minutes of each day, and you could get RCGP level of looks for the pros. And all you have to do is make the format a little bit different for pros. And then, you know, the manufacturers, instead of paying $100 entry fee per class, they pay maybe, $500 for attending the pro class, for those drivers. So they get their money's worth because they get the professional coverage and exposure, and the people get to enjoy your product, the race, through the internet. And, it's sort of a best of both worlds. And the people who go to your event, it's going to be the same event for them. You don't have to change it for everyone, but at least change it for the pros. So, because you have like Dave and the guys who get all the top pros there, you have the power to make whatever you want of those pros, You should, like, why do you do the bare minimum where you could get much more out for your product? I'm 100% sure there is much more potential in this than is
because it takes it takes time and effort to put that into, and it takes time and effort, and I'm sure that these guys are busy as frick at the races that they're on now dealing with that, and it would take somebody organizing that, and that costs money. So there has to be some sort of financial benefit.
Yeah, but you would get the money by
then you have to change the manufacturer's brain.
Yeah, like the thing
then you have to get the pros to be there on time and agree to it and do all that type of stuff. And that all takes organization. Watching it from an RCGP standpoint and watching Nick go out there and wrangle these guys in, even though they know after each thing they can come and do an interview, it still takes people to do that. And that takes the media team. That's where the media team comes in.
Yeah, but
it's a lot of things.
The thing is that these events, like PMB, DNC, they are already big. They have the pros. They don't have to do anything to get the pros, and they have a massive income from the people attending the event. The thing about RCGP is that the issue that why it didn't work out, because they went with the pro class first without having the race, behind it already. And that was the issue. These guys, all they had to do is like cut down the schedule, maybe 30 minutes a day at worst, in my opinion. That's like all you really have to do. And that way I'm very, very confident manufacturers would pay probably at least double or more for these pros to attend and get their name properly represented. And that would cover your cost for getting maybe not live RC, but getting
a media team in there.
A media team that would provide the value to these guys. And
I agree.
I think this is what, the manufacturers effectively want, or should at least want. And I don't think the pro drivers would be like, oh, I don't like this. And you definitely get more exposure and look more professional. And so that's just what I'm thinking here, because it's not like from a monetary perspective, it doesn't look bad, in my opinion. It's not like you have to make huge sacrifices.
I agree with you. Look, coverage is coverage. One person can do that, but to do what you're saying requires a team. So
it requires a team for
and a
sure,
script and all that type of stuff, and it requires somebody to do that.
Yeah. But it's not like, you don't have to do it like, all you need is for the manufacturers and the drivers to commit to it, have some interviews you do, make it look professional. And you don't need to have all of the structure like remade up. All you need to do is like, instead of like Thomas Strand, like what he used to do at J Concept, walking with his iPhone, filming for J Concepts, that will be done with like maybe Danny or someone who has been there filming for them already. And then you have like a good filming crew. Yes, it would cost a few thousand, probably more, but I 100% bet that you could make up on that with sponsorship, or at least sponsorship plus the exposure you get.
I agree. I'm going to leave it at this. It's similar to kind of what Danny Chavez and TJ wanted at the Florida Carpet Championships, and Brent too.
100%.
Brent did it at the Masters of Dirt, but Daniel had myself and Daniel, and then obviously Lance was doing the RD work, and I was working along with Danny doing the interviewing and stuff like that when people came to get prizes, walkabouts. But Danny, when I got there like Wednesday, I had to go out and do interviews and do like B-roll and go talk to people and do all that type of stuff, because Danny had a list of different guys he wanted me to interview, right? So we did. So he, on top of everything that they were doing, but then Danny was also real, like he made sure like as to the tape that they put on the carpet matched the color of the theme of the event. So it takes somebody to put that every little detail on there and understand and respect the value that a media team would bring to a race.
But that's actually great that you brought up that race. He had a good media team from the get-go at that race. I think he's held that race not for many years now.
It's like it's
fourth year that race. And at his fourth year, he had more than half a dozen people come over from Europe to go to his race.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Dave has said that he wants people to come over from Europe. Well, here's a clear example of how that could be done. Good, well-structured event that you, at least for the pros, at the very least for the pros, you make it so that it looks professional, looks like it's done with a purpose and with good coverage. That's all you need, really. I
agree. All right, Max. That's a good rant. I think we both agree on that one, kind of. So, thank you for your time, Max. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you to Chase and Conny for their time. Remember, everybody, we got a lot of racing going on this weekend. We got Dawn, EOS Dawn. We got INS at San Diego. We got Snowbirds this weekend, too. I think those are the 3 races that will have coverage. When I get links, I'll be posting them up on the NNRC Facebook page. Max, anything to add before I close out here?
Nothing much. It was good being back on the podcast.
Yes, it was good having you here.
Nice.
You're going to be here for the next couple of weeks, by the way.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good. DNC is coming closer. I think this is like, it's very hard to say who's the favorite going in. Like before, it was always easy. Like, oh, Mayfield's going to win it, you know?
I think we start our DNC hype next week.
Yeah, I don't know. DNC is going to be really exciting this year.
I'm getting tingly. All right. I want to say thank you to all of the NNRC squad around the world. We can't do it without you guys. Thank you to the patrons of the NNRC YouTube membership as well. If you wish to be a part of that, the links are in the written description of this podcast. Helps us out a lot. Thank you to the awesome companies that support the podcast. They are Invisible Speed, Hitec RC, TNR Fuel, Sun Pedal USA, Beach RC, Mayako, Tekno RC, Lugs Racing Tires, Clinic RC, Ignite Design RC, Ardent Imprint, RC Hoss, RaceCraft USA, House of RC, WRCE, RCGP. Shout out to Runafog Racing, JTP RC, 36 Mood. That's Bobby Battier, and our good friend, the Dr. Alexander Hagberg. Remember, everybody, we have coupon codes, affiliate links, and all of that in the written description of this podcast. Showing the sponsor some love, shows the podcast some love. If you're a company, you like what we're doing, hit me up. We got tiers. We're looking for new companies that want to be a part of what we're going to do. Good luck to everybody racing. Have a good weekend. Be safe, everybody. Remember, Nitro is the glory. E-Buggy pays the bills. Max is the professor of everything. And myself, JQ's Kryptonite. We're out. We're going. We're done.
Goodbye,
It was
everyone.
good chatting to you, Max. Have a good one.
You too.